Chapter 829. It was already late at night and there was only a dilapidated street lamp at the entrance of the alley that was emitting a dim yellow light. The surrounding temperature seemed to have dropped by a few degrees. Shui and Sanction had been smoking non-stop. Little Shiji was released and wanted to lick Xiao Naofu, but Xiao Naofu dodged. Meow meow meow. Atrocious. How dare you lie to me? Little Shiji was helpless. It just didn't want to get into trouble, so it carefully hid its identity as a fast transmigrator. That was its bottom line. Well, Xiao Naofu is too cute. Hence, its bottom line was lowered again and again because of this stupid cat. However, little Shiji's heart softened again when it saw how depressed Xiao Naofu was and how its ears were drooping. It returned to the side of the cage and threw the tablet on the ground, but no one cared about it. Little Shiji typed a line of words on it with its paw. I have an idea, but I can't guarantee that it will work. Xiang Li frowned. Tell me about it. Every bubble world has its own protagonist, and his will is the will of the world. This world is derived from a book, and the male protagonist in the book is Shui, but the male protagonist of this world is actually Xiang Feng. The reason why this bubble world was created is because he wants to get out of singlehood. So, when this goal is achieved, the will of the world will be at its strongest, and it might be able to break the shield set by Ling Yi. Xiang Feng was dumbfounded. Me? Me? I'm actually the male protagonist? How is that possible? So, according to you, the solution to the problem is to get me married. Little Shiji silently deleted the words, love works too, and calmly added the word, okay, with his paw. According to the estimation, if it was dating, it could get an A-level mission evaluation. If it got married, it should be able to get an S-level mission evaluation. Anyway, it had nowhere to go. When the time came, it would just stay in this world to protect Xiao Naofu. Xiang Li pondered for a moment and said, let's give it a try. The end of science is philosophy, and the end of philosophy is theology. Even if he was a genius, he wouldn't be able to solve all problems. However, he wasn't willing to give up even the slightest bit of hope when it came to his sister. Xiang Qi, yes, yes, yes. Let's give it a try. Xiang Yu, anyway, even if my sister doesn't come back, there's nothing to lose. Xiang Feng stomped his feet. How is there no loss? What I want is a perfect love, not some random marriage. Not. The cold and decisive voice naturally came from the great demon king. Xiang Feng immediately backed down. Then let's get married. The problem is, where are we going to find someone to marry? You can't just stop a random girl on the street and shout that you want to marry her. Shui puffed out a smoke ring, which covered her eyes and eyebrows. She said in an indifferent tone, is there a rule that states that I must marry a girl? Little Shiji hesitated for a moment before typing. No. Xiang Feng was shocked. You're not going to sacrifice yourself to marry me, are you? There's no need for that. Shui, the brothers of the Xiang family, little uncle, you should reflect on why Tutu is loved by everyone while you're bullied by everyone. There's a reason for all of this. Shui picked up little Shiji, after which a look of horror appeared on the chubby Shiba Inu's face. She said indifferently, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Little Shiji? Xiang Feng? Chapter 830. The little Shiba Inu barked angrily. Woof woof woof. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. My chastity must not be ruined. Shui raised her eyebrows. You don't agree? Xiao Naofu will do it then. Xiao Naofu was dumbfounded. What are you doing? Little Shiji's pupils dilated. Woof. No. Looking at the adorable kitten snuggled up in Xiang Yu's arms, little Shiji closed his eyes. Forget it. If I don't go to hell, who will? If I don't marry Xiang Yu, who will? It barked aggrievedly, indicating that it would be better to let Xiang Yu do it. Xiang Yu immediately said, I'll go make an appointment at the church right away. Xiang Qi made an okay gesture and said, "Leave the gown to me, I've already prepared it." Although it's for Tutu and brother Sure, Xiang Yu and Xiang Yu shot daggers at him. Xiang Qi hurriedly corrected himself. Ahem, it's just a couple's outfit. It's not a wedding gown. On the side, Xiang Feng was incompetent and furious. Did you guys even consider me? You. Ah. Hey. Star City. It had been a month since Xiangyi arrived in Star City. The flow of time between the two worlds was different, but Lingyi did not intend to tell Xiangyi. Today's live stream is over. Xiangyi turned off the live stream and sat down on the floor in exhaustion. She was exhausted, but if she didn't keep herself busy, she was afraid that she would collapse. When she was doing the transmigration mission previously, she had a clear goal, to work hard and go home. But it was different now. It seemed that there was no point in doing anything. Lingyi skillfully packed the food and mailed it to the viewers who had won the lottery. During this month, Xiangyi kept her word and cooked 100 dishes a day. This kind of behavior was universally shocking. It was unprecedented. However, the effect was also extremely obvious. Xiangyi was now the most popular streamer on the internet. There was no other. Alliance Livestream regretted it so much that the staff members who were full of superiority were all fired. The Imperium Livestream, on the other hand, smiled and invited Xiangyi to develop in the Imperium. They would arrange a villa and a starship for her. However, they were all rejected by Xiangyi. As for the Chefs Association, it had fallen into the longest dark period since its establishment. Since Xiangyi's live broadcast, countless people found that the so-called ordinary people can't cook by the Chefs Association was a conspiracy. They followed the trend and learned to make the dishes that Xiangyi taught them every day. They were surprised to find that they could also make delicious dishes that were not inferior to the chefs. The current Chefs Association was being criticized, cursed, attacked, and opposed. Some people even called for the Chefs Association to be shut down. Sister, you're so awesome. You've gained another few tens of millions of fans today. Lingyi switched to housekeeping mode and started massaging Xiangyi's shoulders. Xiangyi gave a perfunctory reply, forced herself to focus, and continued to write the program. Currently, the Alliance only prohibited civilian use of the shuttle technology, but it was still allowed for official research. Xiangyi tried to break through the security wall of the Science Research Institute, but the difficulty was too high. It was like giving an unsolvable math problem to a primary school student. It was impossible to solve. The little robot sat next to her, looking very obedient. Sister, it's useless. The technology of this plane is too powerful. Even I can't break it. Isn't it good to stay here? I can accompany you. Forget those memories. Once you forget them, you'll be happy. Perhaps because she was too tired, Xiangyi felt dizzy, and her consciousness was somewhat absent-minded. Perhaps Lingyi was right. Forget, family, forget. Sure sway. Chapter 831. Lingyi looked at her quietly. Xiangyi's willpower really exceeded his imagination. For the past month, he had been trying to hypnotize her, but it had little effect. Today, Xiangyi was probably too tired, so he found an opportunity to take advantage of her. The psychological suggestion worked. Xiangyi's eyelashes trembled. She felt her eyelids were extremely heavy. She fell onto the sofa. The little robot rubbed against Xiangyi's palm. Let me accompany you, okay? I can do whatever he can give you. If he likes you very much, I have 100 points, 1,000 points. The doorbell suddenly rang. Lingyi was full of vigilance. He connected to the electronic peephole on the door and saw the person outside the door clearly. Fu Yunyue. He let down his guard. Xiangyi, who was about to fall asleep, was woken up. She propped up her tired body and opened the door. Sister, I'm here. Fu Yunyue gave her a bear hug and almost pushed Xiangyi to the floor. A pair of strong hands grabbed Fu Yunyue's collar in time and helped Xiangyi stabilize. Then, He withdrew his hands without a trace. Be careful. Xiangyi said weakly, Mr. Fu, you're here too. Fu Zichuan replied, yes. Ling Yi. For some reason, this Fu Zichuan made him feel a little dangerous. He was the one who sent the message on the alternate worlds transmigration forum to Fu Zichuan. Fu Zichuan did not disappoint him. His efficiency was astonishing. He caught all the administrators. However, to Ling Yi, those people did not pose any threat to him. He had long gotten rid of the shackles of those ants. It was just that he was too lazy to deal with those people personally. Ah, sister, you're too kind. You actually left so much food for me. Beside the coffee table, Fu Yunue was extremely excited. These days, Xiangyi would always leave some food for her according to her taste and send it over. Gradually, Fu Yunue could not wait for the takeout anymore. Every time, she would come to the door to get it herself. However, she had always been alone before. This time, she brought her big brother with her. Xiangyi brought the cutlery over and asked politely, would you like to try it, Mr. Fu? She thought that Fu Zichuan would refuse, but the man nodded slightly. Okay. After saying that, she imitated Fu Yunue and sat cross-legged beside the coffee table. This house was bought by Xiangyi. The area was not big, and most of the space was occupied by kitchen utensils. The living area only had a small bed and a coffee table. There were very few clothes, only a few of the same color and style, which were casually hung on the clothes rack. There wasn't even a wardrobe, let alone other decorations. The entire room gave off the feeling that it was lifeless. It was as if there was nothing here that made her reluctant to leave, and she could leave at any time. Awu, it's too delicious. It's another day of crying over delicious food. Fu Yunue's eyes were brimming with tears as she ate until her cheeks were puffed up. Fu Zichuan picked up 2 chopsticks. It was still as delicious as ever. His attention unconsciously fell on Xiangyi. The girl was so thin that she was almost out of shape, thin and frail. She also became less talkative. She would only reply with 1 or 2 words when Fu Yunue said something, as if she began to resist social interaction. Fu Zichuan observed for a while without batting an eyelid and coughed lightly. Miss Yi, is there something on your mind? Fu Yunue tried her best to swallow the food in her mouth. That's right, that's right. Why aren't you saying anything? Is it because of your long-distance boyfriend? Xiangyi's eyes were filled with confusion. I have a boyfriend. Chapter 832. Huh? Fu Yunue almost spat out her rice. She was extremely surprised. Didn't you say that you have someone you like waiting for you in a faraway place? Xiangyi tried her best to recall, but she could not remember anything. She smiled softly. Is there? Maybe it's something from a long time ago. Fu Yunue was stunned for a few seconds. I see, did Tutu really forget? Or did she want to walk out of her previous relationship? If it was the latter, then wouldn't her brother have hope? Thus, Fu Yunue began to praise her brother crazily, vividly demonstrating what it meant to be stupid at Versailles and showing off. My brother used 6 seconds to defeat the champion of the mecha competition last time. The little princess of the empire came to pester my brother again. She said that she would marry no one else but my brother. Ayaya, Tutu, my brother's mine has recently dug out a batch of high-quality gems. Do you want me to make a set of hand gestures for you? Or a pigeon egg on your kitchen knife? How could Fu Zichuan not guess Fu Yunue's thoughts, but unexpectedly, he did not expose her. However, his ears started to burn. Throughout the entire process, Xiangyi listened attentively and responded politely from time to time. The little robot at the side was extremely angry. He did not take Fu Zichuan seriously at first, but now, the more he looked at Fu Zichuan, the more he disliked him. This face was too similar to Shusui's. It was disgusting. Fu Yunue ate and drank her fill. She rubbed her round belly and held a few ingredient storage boxes in her hand. She burped and said goodbye to Xiangyi. Bye-bye, see you tomorrow. Xiangyi asked, I might not be able to see you tomorrow. I probably won't start a live broadcast in the future. Sorry, I'm afraid I can't cook for you. Hearing this, Fu Yunhua said angrily, What do you take me for? I came to look for you because of food. Burp. Alright, that's also part of the reason, but. The arrogant young lady was so embarrassed that her face turned red. She stomped her feet hard and said what was in her heart, I treat you as a good friend. After saying that, Fu Yunua's head was so hot that it was almost smoking. She covered her face and ran away. Xiangyi was stunned for a moment. Her cherry lips moved, wanting to say something, but Fu Yunhua had already run far away. Fu Zichuan's deep voice rang in her ears. Tutu, can I add you as a friend on the optical computer? It had been a long time since he called her Miss E. All right. Xiangyi took the initiative to take half a step closer to Fu Zichuan. From the little robot's point of view, the two of them looked very intimate. After adding her as a friend, Fu Zichuan left politely and did not disturb Xiangyi too much. Before returning to his hover car, Fu Yunhua was still patting her red and hot face. When she saw him coming back, she stuck her head out of the car window with stars in her eyes. Brother, I saw the two of you whispering. Is there something going on between you two? He. Fu Zichuan said lightly, I'm just cooperating with her and being a tool. Fu Yunhua. As soon as the Fu's siblings left, Lingyi controlled the door and closed it. Lingyi questioned, Sister, why did you add another man as a friend? Xiangyi looked at him. Mr. Fu is a very nice person. Is there a problem? Lingyi said in a muffled voice. I don't like sister talking to other men. Xiangyi ignored him and continued to write the program. However, in the program to attack the security wall, a piece of virus code had been added without leaving a trace. Chapter 833. The little robot that was ignored became even more anxious. It circled Xiangyi back and forth, trying to attract the girl's attention with the noise it made. Unfortunately, Xiangyi's focus was too strong. Whether it was learning, cooking, or coding, she was highly focused and would not be easily disturbed. Lingyi did not understand why she was so persistent. After waiting for her to rest and drink water, Lingyi asked tentatively, Sister, do you miss your family? The girl's clear eyes revealed a trace of confusion. Family, she should have a family, but why couldn't she remember anyone? The girl's expression fell into Lingyi's eyes. He was overwhelmed with emotions and was overjoyed. She had really forgotten. However, Xiangyi's next answer made him feel as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. I want to go home. Under the little robot's incredulous gaze, the girl firmly repeated, I want to go home. Lingyi could not understand. She could even forget Shui and her family, but why didn't she forget to go home? How deep was her obsession? Time passed day by day. On the first day Tutu stopped broadcasting, the netizens on the Star Domain network thought that she might be tired and wanted to rest. The second day, the third day, the 10th day, her live stream screen was always black. The Chefs Association felt that this was a precious opportunity and jumped out to create another wave of waves. They released the news that Tutu was guilty. She had used up all the stolen recipes, so she was at her wit's end. The netizens' response to this was, someone, turn on the light energy electromagnetic cannons on the starship and aim them at the stupid Chefs Association. It was the Chefs Association that deceived the public. It was the Chefs Association that persecuted Tutu. It was the Chefs Association that deprived everyone of their happiness. The netizens' anger was all vented on the Chefs Association. The Chefs Association, which was originally like a falling leaf in the wind, completely collapsed. For a long time in the future, as long as the Chefs Association was mentioned, it would be despised by thousands of people. Fu Yunhua changed from freeloading to bringing food. Xiangyi's symptoms of social rejection were becoming more and more obvious. She was unwilling to go out and cook. Every day, she was busy typing a bunch of things on her optical computer that she could not understand. The young girl was extremely thin. Every time Fu Yunhua saw her, she felt shocked. Fu Yunhua suspected that if she didn't come to deliver food, if she didn't force Xiangyi to sleep a little every day, Xiangyi might starve to death or die suddenly at home. On the other hand, Lingyi was getting more and more irritable. Other than Fu Yunhua, Xiangyi was not even willing to communicate with him. Fu Zichuan rarely came, but every time he came, Xiangyi's symptoms would improve a little. Just yesterday, Fu Zichuan had asked her to go on an interstellar trip with him. Xiangyi, who was so against the outside world, had actually agreed. After Fu Yunhua left, Xiangyi continued to write code. She had tried to attack the security wall of the research institute a few times, but it was no different from throwing an egg at a rock. There was once when she was almost tracked down by the other party, and it was only because Lingyi covered for her that she was able to escape unscathed. "Sister, I've made you something to eat. I made it according to the recipe from your previous live stream. I guarantee that it will taste exactly the same. Sister, if you go on a trip, can I go with you? I'll just stay in your optical computer and won't cause you any trouble, okay?" In the long silence, Lingyi almost went crazy. The little robot tugged at Xiangyi's sleeve. "Sister, pay attention to me." Xiangyi's expression was indifferent as she turned off the robot's power. In a hurry, Lingyi entered his data into Xiangyi's optical computer. Chapter 834. In an instant. The program was triggered. Lingyi realized that something was wrong almost instantly, but it was too late. The program Xiangyi wrote every day actually contained a virus code that was fatal to him. That was a Super S-level virus that Xiangyi had learned in a certain fast-traveling dimension. As soon as Lingyi appeared, she realized that the root of the problem was not to break through the security wall of the Academy of Sciences and return home through the interstellar era's technology. Instead, she needed to get rid of Lingyi. The virus overbearingly invaded every bite of Lingyi's. Even though it was in the form of virtual data, Lingyi could feel that his body was being cut apart inch by inch. While fighting against the virus, he gritted his teeth and asked, "You've recovered your memory?" Xiangyi looked at him calmly, neither sad nor happy. Her eyes were clear. Lingyi instantly understood something and smiled bitterly. "So, you didn't lose your memory at all. You've been lying to me since the beginning." Xiangyi said calmly, "Same here." "Lingyi, no, what should I call you? Dragon Slayer? System number 2. The ripples showing Lingyi's data fluctuated. In addition to the difficulty of fighting against the virus, his emotions were also extremely intense. Xiangyi did not relax at all and continued to use other small viruses to completely restrict Lingyi's movements. Lingyi projected a virtual human figure, which was still a beautiful and delicate young man like an angel. "You already know. More or less." Xiangyi's eyes were calm and her tone was calm, just like when Lingyi first met her. It was as if nothing could disturb her. "The two soul exchanges between me and Yi were related to you." Lingyi simply sat down cross-legged, probably because he had nothing left to lose. He snorted, as if he was very disdainful of that idiot Yi. Otherwise, how could she have been chosen by the main system to quickly transmigrate? It was just that he had done something to her. He had also interfered with the main system when Xiao Naofu was reincarnated. Xiangyi continued, "You're not a real human. The so-called digitized form is your original form. This world should be the world where you were born." Lingyi tilted his head and smiled, revealing his sharp canine teeth. "Wow, sister is so smart. So everything is a lie. You're just playing me." From the first meeting, when he was about to transmigrate, to the reunion, in Little Rabbit Farm, and then to the companionship, in the interstellar plane. Reality did not exist. Everything was an illusion. Lingyi faintly said, "Isn't Big Sister acting as me too? I didn't expect Big Sister's acting skills to be so good that even I was fooled. One is marked by the company one keeps." Not to mention the experience of transmigrating to another world, just the fact that she had Sure Sui and Xiao Naofu by her side, these two acting geniuses, it would be unreasonable if she didn't improve her acting skills. What should I do? Big Sister treats me so badly, but I still like Big Sister a lot. Lingyi's eyes revealed a trace of stubbornness. Big sister is finally paying attention to me. Xiangyi's expression did not change as she continued to add poison to the poison. Ling Ye's expression was somewhat malevolent, and his core data was nearly destroyed. Big sis is so ruthless. She already knew the truth, yet she still endured it for so long. Ling Yi gritted his teeth. But do you know? Without me, you still can't go back. Be nicer to me. Maybe I'll consider letting big sister go back. You've given your gentleness to so many people. Can't you give me one more? Xiangyi said the cruelest words in the most gentle tone. Gentleness and kindness have always been for people, not for trash. Chapter 835. Ling Ye's virtual projection in the air became even dimmer. Am I trash in your eyes, sister? Ling Yi asked in shock. Xiangyi stayed silent for a long time before saying, You weren't in the past. Ling Yi put on a smile that was uglier than crying. A moment later, his expression gradually became menacing, paranoid, and maniacal. Sister, you can't go back. That world has been blocked by me. Even if you use the teleportation technology of this world, you won't be able to reach your destination. Besides, your code can only trap me. It can't kill me at all. Xiangyi's virus code was indeed very strong, but Ling Yi, as the second transmigration system, was also not to be underestimated. He could continuously evolve and fight until one day, he could break through the trap set by Xiangyi. Xiangyi asked, What about the main system? Her words were earth-shattering. Ling Yi widened his eyes and stared at Xiangyi in disbelief. No, she must be lying to me. How could Xiangyi have contacted the main system? She wouldn't have waited until now. She would have gotten the main system to take action long ago. I can't contact it, but I trust my brothers, Shi Sui, Xiao Naofu, and little Shiji. Shi Sui was not the only one who had long noticed little Shiji's abnormality. As long as that world returned to normal, little Shiji would be able to contact the main system as a teleporter. Ha ha ha. Ling Yi convulsed with laughter and said, Sister, you're so adorable. They're a bunch of good-for-nothings. How can they be as smart as you? Do you know that the flow of time in this interstellar world is completely different from that in your world? You've been here for more than a month, but only 2 or 3 days have passed there. How long do you think they'll take to find a solution? How long do you think you'll have to wait here? A year? 2 years? 10 years? Xiangyi said, I've already prepared myself for the worst. She did not have any strong points, except that she was a little patient. Xiangyi sat down and casually flipped through a comic book that Fu Yunhua had given her. In this era where paper books were rare, it was said that the comic books were treasured enough to be kept in the library. Xiangyi flipped through dozens of pages with a solemn expression. It turned out that people didn't wear clothes when they were in a relationship. Ling Yi tried to continue spouting nonsense, but Xiangyi calmly silenced him. Thus, she saw the young man flying into a frenzy in the air, but there was nothing he could do to her. South City, Church. The red carpet extended all the way from the entrance, and the flowers that had been flown and were decorated with exotic dewdrops. There were only a few people in the huge church, and all of them were looking at a man and a dog dressed in formal attire. The kind priest inquired, Are you willing to, from now on, become Xiang Feng's husband, and enter into a marriage contract with him? In sickness and in health, or for any other reason, to love him, to care for him, to honor him, to accept him, to be faithful to him until the end of his days? Little Shiji was conflicted for a long time and reluctantly gave up on life. Woof. The priest did not find it strange and stroked its head kindly. What's wrong with marrying a dog? Nowadays, there are even people who bring figurines to get married. The priest looked at Xiang Feng and continued with the procedure. Are you willing, little Shiji? Xiang Feng interrupted, I'm willing. He couldn't help but mutter softly, It'd be ridiculous if this works. As the priest announced, I hereby announce that you two are officially husband and wife. The world in front of them seemed to have ripples on the surface of the water. Chapter 836. Whoosh, space seemed to be distorted as it overlapped with one another. It felt like a second, but it also felt like 10,000 years. A moment later, everything returned to normal. Xiang Feng was dumbfounded, and his mouth was wide open. No way, right? What kind of fantasy plot is this? The priest rubbed his eyes, thinking that it was an illusion. He asked with a smile, "What's wrong?" He asked with a smile, "When will the next ceremony be arranged?" Little Shiji suddenly barked excitedly and leaped towards Xiangli, who was holding a tablet, to type a few words. "I've contacted her." Everyone felt a sense of relief. Yi was the only one whose eyes were full of panic, but she didn't dare to say a word. In the past 3 days, she had fully experienced what it meant to drag on like a year. Hell, was just a so-so. Little Shiji immediately typed again. "You can get a divorce now." Xiangli cleared his throat and said to the priest politely, "You can do it now." The priest was dumbfounded. Even dogs know how to play with tablets these days? "I'm not as proficient as a dog," bearing with complicated emotions, the priest went through the divorce process again. "I hereby announce that you two have regained your freedom. May God bless you." Xiang Feng held his hand and shook it. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. It's no trouble at all." The priest smiled. Anyway, he had already paid them both. He was smart enough to leave temporarily after completing his work, leaving enough space for these strange people. Time passed, and everyone was waiting for the main system to reply. All of a sudden, Yi's face was full of agony as she felt a tearing sensation from the depths of her soul. "No. I don't want to go back. I want to stay here. I'm Xiangyi. I'm the little princess of the Xiang family." Her voice became weaker and weaker, and her vision turned black as she lost consciousness completely. Star City. Ling Yi had been clamoring for a long time, and he was probably tired as he hugged his knees and sat on the ground. Although it was a virtual projection, it somehow exuded a sense of desolation and dejection. He had lost. He had lost to Xiangyi. Xiangyi had flipped through the book that Fu Yunhua had given her countless times before she remembered Ling Yi. She then looked up at him. She turned off the silent mode and asked, "Did we know each other before?" Ling Yi stared fixedly at her. "Big sister, don't you remember me?" "Ha. Ha." He laughed louder and louder. In the end, he even laughed until tears flowed out of his eyes. "That's true. I'm just a passerby in your life." It was an artificial intelligence programmed by humans. After changing its soul time and time again, it had collected the energy and will of various planes. It discovered that it could split a portion of its data to travel between different planes. Thus, out of the artificial AI's desire to learn and perfect the rules, it began to travel. During one of its travels, it met Xiangyi. At that time, her parents had been in a car accident, and she cried very hard. It had taken over someone else's body and deliberately crashed into it. The little girl wiped her tears as she took out a milk candy from her pocket and apologized to the stranger. "So sorry." At that moment, its core data felt like it was about to be burned. It was also from that moment onwards that it became him. The artificial intelligence created by humans had the self-awareness of humans. "It's fine if you don't remember me. In any case, Big Sister can only accompany me here forever." As soon as he finished speaking, the girl in front of him yawned as if she had been gently coaxed to sleep. She lay down comfortably on the couch, and her eyelids became heavier and heavier. Chapter 837. Ling Yi realized something. Even when he was infected with the virus, he wasn't so shocked. He attacked the virus program written by Xiangyi like a madman. The virtual projection was in so much pain that his expression was distorted. He was covered in wounds, but he still refused to stop. He spent so much effort to switch Xiangyi here. He thought that he could keep her in this world forever. He didn't expect her to see through all his schemes. But even if she hated him, it was better than losing her. Sister. Xiangyi. "No, you can't. You can't leave me." No, the only response he got was a deathly silence. After an unknown period of time, Lingyi looked at the girl on the sofa and groaned in pain. The pain from the depths of her soul still made Yi's heart palpitate. She opened her eyes with difficulty and looked at the projection in front of her. Who are you? Lingyi's face was pale, and he was in extreme despair. She left, she really left. Is it a new virtual boyfriend? Yi muttered and realized that she wasn't at her original home. Did that woman rent a new house? She tapped on the optical computer on her wrist, and her eyes lit up. The latest model? Not only that, she realized that the communication function was set to Do Not Disturb. She turned on the receiving mode, and the flashing red dots almost froze the optical computer. Looking at the messages on it, Yi was pleasantly surprised. Hundreds of millions of fans on the live stream platform. Fu Yunyue and I are good friends. Fu Zichuan, the commander of the Alliance's starship, is interested in me. She suddenly felt that it was quite good to switch over. Anyway, she had already been exposed in that world, and her life was worse than death. But in the interstellar world, she had a new beginning. At this moment, the doorbell rang. Yi went to open the door. I'm so tired. Sister, I finally queued up to buy this milk tea. It's super delicious. Fu Yunyue said that she was tired, but in fact, the one who was holding the milk tea was Fu Zichuan. Behind him was the cute combat robot Xiao Bai. Looking at the face that was similar to Shi Sui's, Yi's heart pounded. Fu Zichuan narrowed his eyes, hiding danger. Fu Yunyue didn't notice her strange expression and asked casually, Are you done packing? We agreed to start our journey in space today. Yi nodded vigorously. All right. I can leave at any time. Fu Yunyue immediately sensed that something was wrong. You aren't Tutu, right? What Tutu? I'm Yi. As soon as Yi finished speaking, she realized that Tutu was Xiangyi's nickname and also her live stream name. She quickly corrected herself, that's right. I'm Tutu. Fu Yunyue took a step back. Fu Zichuan said calmly, it's not her. Let's go. Even Xiao Bai had a regretful expression on her face. She took off the hairband that Xiangyi had given her and the bow that she had made herself. Yi panicked. Where are you going? But the Fu siblings did not even look at her and walked away. In the hover car, Fu Yunyue sniffled. Her eyes were red. She should have gone home. Fu Zichuan replied softly, yes. Fu Yunyue wiped her tears and smiled widely. Then she must have met someone she likes and been liked by someone. Hey, Tutu can finally get her wish. After a long time, Fu Yunyue heard her brother's low and hoarse voice. As long as she's happy. Chapter 838. Yi didn't expect to receive such a huge blow as soon as she returned home. However, she quickly adjusted her state of mind. Even without the Fu siblings, she still had so many fans on the Star Web live stream. She logged on to the Star Web live stream and soon received a greeting from Empire Livestream, as well as a daily contract renewal. Yi naturally agreed and signed the contract for the day. The staff of Empire Livestream asked politely, Tutu, what are you going to cook today? Can you spoil the show so that we can help you promote it? Yi froze for a moment. She didn't know how to cook at all. If she did, she would be exposed, hence, she expressed that she wasn't going to cook today and was going to sing. She was going to show her face and sing. The staff on the other side was instantly excited. Tutu's face. This was an explosive event. The staff immediately applied to the higher-ups and soon, the application was approved for the best and most popular spot on the Star Web live stream. Simply put, as long as one used the Star Web live stream, they would receive a push notification from Tutu's live stream. Half an hour later, the live stream began. Yi was a little nervous as she waved at the camera. Hello everyone, I'm Yi. Ahem, I'm Tutu. What appeared on the fans' screens was a face with heavy makeup. Although it was quite pretty, everyone was still a little disappointed. She was too different from the image that everyone had imagined, They had thought that Tutu was a beautiful, gentle, and indifferent girl who would still be beautiful even without makeup. However, there were too many people who liked Tutu and the pop-up comments were shocking. The fans were enthusiastically sending gifts to her. Was overjoyed when she saw this. She had just greeted them and the gifts she received, if converted to star coins, would be worth millions. This was even when Yoon Jong-yue was not around. With her taking the lead in sending gifts, the number would probably double. Then, started singing. Fans? Continued singing. Fans? Shut up, she's one of us. Oh my god, I'm so disillusioned with Tutu, let's talk nicely, don't poison my ears. Empire livestream was also dumbfounded. They didn't expect Tutu's singing to be so terrible. The loss of viewers in the live stream was simply a waste of their promotion. Not only that, during the interactive segment, Tutu's words were even more shocking. Thank you all for sending me gifts. Everyone, continue, don't stop. Why do you keep asking me to cook? That's something only a chef can do. Besides, her hands are so delicate. How can she endure cooking all the time? The audience. Was such a pretentious woman really Tutu? What's more, Bunny was a ruthless person who made 100 dishes every day for more than a month. How could he not be able to endure this little bit of hardship? Thus, everyone came to a conclusion, this Tutu was a fake. The number of viewers in the live stream was getting lower and lower, and those who stayed behind were all doubtful. Did you steal Tutu's optical computer? Cook a dish to prove you're Tutu. It's a fake, right? Hee, you can't be Tutu. Never expected that she would still be doubted after returning to her own body. Panic was boundless and almost drowned her. Shivering, turned off the live stream. Little did she know that this was just the beginning of her retribution, in the church in Nanchang. The girl's eyelashes fluttered and she slowly woke up, only to see familiar faces. Chapter 839. The light was a little dazzling and she instinctively squinted. Immediately, a pair of large hands covered her forehead, covering her eyes. The tip of her nose turned sour and she almost burst into tears. Finally. I'm back. In the interstellar world, she had been very calm and composed. She had spent a lot of effort scheming against Ling Yi and was extremely exhausted, both physically and mentally. However, she didn't cry even once. It wasn't that she didn't want to cry, but rather, she had been holding it in. After persevering for so long, she couldn't hold it in any longer the moment she saw her family. She was just using the strongest armor to disguise all her weaknesses. In fact, she would also be afraid, confused, and uneasy. Brother. Xiangyi said in a soft and nasal voice, I'm back. She tried her best to smile, but tears welled up in her eyes. Xiangyu pressed his cap down to cover his eyes. The young esports god said arrogantly and coldly, You're back. Xiangqi's eyes were red and he said fiercely, What are you crying for? You're so ugly. Xiangli touched her little head gently and said, Our Tutu, it's been hard on you. We've been waiting for you. Xiang Chen was as taciturn as ever. He said 2 words expressionlessly. Go ahead and cry. The cold and aloof man wiped Xiangyi's face with his sleeve. His tailored suit was stained with tears and snot, but he didn't even frown. Xiangyi noticed that Xiangyu, who had always been dressed in a formal suit and leather shoes, had long been wrinkled. Even his tie was loosely tied. He wasn't the only one, the others were also in a much more disheveled state than usual. Xiangyi immediately cried even harder. The girl's shoulders shook, as if she was about to cry all the tears she had in her life. Xiang Feng wailed too. Little Xiangyi, you've suffered. Little Shiji silently distanced herself from her ex-husband. Xiao Naofu jumped into Xiangyi's arms and meowed, its icy blue eyes full of tears. Stupid woman. You're finally back. This Huhu was worried to death. Xiangyi hugged the kitten tightly and smiled through her tears. Why have you lost weight? Your stomach is so flat. I'll make you cat food when we get back, cough, tiger food. Everyone, how was this fat cat skinny? Xiao Naofu obediently rubbed its head against Xiangyi's collarbone, then jumped to the ground. It strode over to Xiang Yu's feet with its proud and noble cat-like steps, and meowed in a cute and coquettish manner. Xiang Yu. It acted coquettishly towards me. Xiang Yu, the furry maniac, picked up Xiao Naofu at lightning speed and instantly transformed from a cold and aloof person into a chatterbox. Is our Fu hungry? Do you want to drink milk? Can you eat some dried fish first? If you don't like it, I'll buy you something else, okay? Little Shiji, it turned out that I wasn't the only bootlicker. Xiang Yu carried Xiao Naofu to look for food while Xiang Qi, Xiang Li, and Sanction also found excuses to leave, not forgetting to drag Xiang Yu away with them. Xiang Feng was still struggling desperately. Don't stop me. I want to hug little Xiangyi. I want to give her the warmth of a family member. Sanction glanced at him coldly. Xiang Feng was obedient. In the church, Xiangyi and the man who was shielding her from the light were the only ones left. Xiangyi looked up and made eye contact with Shi Sui's handsome face. The man's eyes were bloodshot, and there was green stubble on his smooth jawline. His voice was hoarse from the tobacco smoke, and he said in a low and gentle voice, Sister E, welcome home. Chapter 840. Xiangyi's tears were about to burst out again. Fortunately, both she and Shi Sui were good at controlling their emotions. Even if they were overwhelmed with emotions, they could still appear calm. Yes, I'm back. Long time no see. After saying that, Xiangyi thought of something. What's the date today? Shi Sui gave her a date. Xiangyi was slightly stunned at first. Then, she heaved a sigh of relief. That's great, that's really great. The flow of time in the two worlds was different. She was so glad that she was in the fast world, while Shi Sui and her brother were in the slow world. Shi Sui sensed that something was wrong. He narrowed his eyes and asked, How long have you been there? Xiangyi wanted to skip this question and change the topic. Shi Sui didn't ask much. He just stared at her, as if he wouldn't look away if she didn't give him an answer. In the end, Xiangyi was defeated. She said softly, More than a month, huh? Unexpectedly, Shi Sui put his arm around the girl's slender waist and pulled her into his arms. Xiangyi's face was pressed against his chest. His heartbeat was clear and strong. It was a little fast. What's wrong? Shi Sui said hoarsely, I'd rather be the one who spent more than a month with you. There was silence in the church. Xiangyi looked up. Her eyes were as red as a rabbit's, but she still comforted Shi Sui. I'm fine, really. She tiptoed and kissed Shi Sui's chin. She was so obedient and soft. Shi Sui looked at her without blinking. He suddenly tightened his grip on her waist. His tall figure loomed over her, not allowing her to escape. Xiangyi didn't escape. Instead, she hugged his waist, in the director's room. Li Jinyu paced back and forth. What's going on? Is Sister E really possessed? That day, Shi Sui had only asked him and Wan Qing to help with the acting. She hadn't said anything else. Even though Li Jinyu boasted that he had watched countless horror movies, he was naturally easily frightened. When he saw Xiang Yi, who was like a completely different person, he was still frightened. Wan Qing's guess was deeper than his. She thought of that amnesia incident back then and felt that Xiangyi might have lost her memory again and her body might have been taken over by another personality. After all, the matter of transmigration was simply too unimaginable. A staff member rushed in. Director Li, Sister Wan, you're back. Sister E is back. What did you say? Li Jinyu retorted. His body reacted faster than his mouth as he strode out. Wan Qing followed closely behind. Not only the two of them, but all the staff members in the production crew also rushed to the entrance to welcome Xiangyi. When they saw that the little girl was safe and sound beside the car, many people cheered. Quick, 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 Sister E is back. Sister E, how are you feeling? Sister E, you've lost weight. You have to eat more to nourish your body. A group of people surrounded Xiangyi and talked at once, showing concern for the little girl. Xiangyi smiled faintly and said, I've made everyone worry. I'm fine. Okay, all of you make way. You're all surrounding her so tightly that Sister E probably can't breathe fresh air. Everyone awkwardly made way. Li Jianyu pushed through the crowd and threw himself into Shui's arms. Shui, ? Xiangyi, ? Li Jianyu said, Boo-hoo, I want to hug Sister E, but I don't think it's appropriate. Then I can only hug Sister Yi's man. Wan Qing, on the other hand, didn't have such concerns. She gave Xiangyi a big hug like a warm and intelligent big sister. You're back, Sister E. Chapter 841. Xiangyi nodded obediently and couldn't help but rub her head against Wan Qing's shoulder. Brother E. You're finally awake, that's great. Zhou Yan exclaimed in joy. He trotted towards Xiang Yi, followed by Su Rendong's striding figure. The two of them had postponed all their appointments in the short term in order to wait for Xiangyi to wake up. Xiangyi chatted with them for a while, and after Zhou Yan and Su Rendong confirmed that Xiangyi had recovered, they left. Zhou Yan stuck his head out of the car window and said, Thank you for introducing us to the doctor, Brother E. In addition to the psychiatrist that she introduced to Su Rendong, Xiangyi also helped him make an appointment with a top-ear doctor. He owed her a huge favor. Xiangyi said gently, You guys have to cooperate with the doctor and get well soon. Zhou Yan grinned. He didn't look like a legendary singer at all. Instead, he looked a little silly. Brother E, I'll come to you again if I'm hungry for 3 days. Su Rendong pursed his lips. Although he had already sprayed the car with disinfectant spray, he still felt a little uncomfortable. He said, See you later. Xiangyi said, Have a safe trip, come by often in the future. As the car gradually drove away, their friendship quietly lasted forever. In the living room, Xiangyi learned that the fans of Two Under One Roof had been waiting under the official Weibo account for several days, so she took the initiative to ask the production team to start a live stream. If it were any other director, they would definitely be eager to start a live stream to make money. However, the style of Two Under One Roof was like this. Li Jianyu said, Don't start it, get some rest today. Xiangyi said, I want to explain to the fans, don't let them worry about me. Li Jianyu said, Okay, we'll do as you say, but we can only do it for an hour. Wan Qing said, Half an hour, 1 hour is too long. The cameraman, Old Zhang, said, Yes, we can't tire Sister E out. The others also chimed in, all of them doting on Xiangyi. She was really loved by everyone. After the staff adjusted the equipment, Wan Qing used her official Weibo account to post the news of the upcoming live stream. The fans below were all in an uproar. Is Sister E awake? How is our baby? Will Izai appear on screen? I'm so worried that I'm crying QAQ. The moment the live stream started, countless viewers flooded in. The camera shook twice and successfully focused on the two people sitting side by side on the sofa. Shui changed into a clean white cotton shirt with a simple gray t-shirt inside. Xiangyi was wearing a white dress made of the same material. The hem of the dress was a lotus leaf design, which made the girl's calves look fair and delicate. Whether it was the color scheme or the material, they all formed a harmonious harmony. In the live stream, that's great, Sister E is fine. Couple outfits. It's a couple outfit. Same model please. To the people in front, wake up. This design is obviously the work of Hades. It's probably one of a kind in the world. Xiangyi raised her left hand and waved. Hello everyone, I'm Xiangyi. The moment she put down her hand, Shui naturally held her little hand and held it tightly in her palm. She acted affectionately as if no one else was around. The tips of Xiangyi's ears turned slightly red, and she explained to everyone in a gentle voice that her body was no longer in danger. Thank you for your concern, everyone. I'll take good care of myself. In the next second, she suddenly felt a weight on her shoulder. She turned her little face to the side, only to find that Shui had fallen asleep on her shoulder. His eyelashes were thick and long, casting a faint shadow over his eyes. Holding her hand, he did not let go of her hand even a little bit. Chapter 842. Is he too tired? Xiangyi thought to herself. Shui had been sleepless for several days in a row, so he was really tired now. He rarely relaxed in front of others. Xiangyi was the only exception. Xiangyi remained seated and carefully helped Shui adjust his position so that he could sleep more comfortably. The girl put the microphone close to her mouth and lowered her voice. Does anyone have any questions? In the live stream, fans of the untimely couple repeatedly died. I'm done, I'm done. This is too sweet. Untimely couple. Beautiful love. What a perfect couple. Let's get married on the spot. Sister E, thank you for your concern. We will be holding our wedding in a few days. Welcome, everyone. In addition to the fans of the untimely couple, many people also asked Xiangyi questions. The usual questions were about her interests and hobbies, the recipe of a certain dish, but there were also unusual questions such as the solution to math problems, pet poop picker strategies, and divination. Xiangyi replied to as many people as she could. No matter how outrageous the questions were, the girl would answer them seriously. When she encountered questions that she didn't know how to answer, she would apologize to the audience and leave a good impression on them. It was almost time. Xiangyi wanted to answer more questions, but Li Jianyu said, "Okay, time's up. Sister E, you should get some rest. I'll answer one more question, just one." The girl raised a finger and said in a soft voice, as if she was acting coquettishly. "Ah, who can stand this?" Father Fan Li Jianyu could stand it. He sternly refused Xiangyi's request. "I'll turn off the live stream right away. Now, go to sleep with Shui." Beside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the Xiang brothers, who were too lazy to enter the live stream, cast cold glares at them one after another. In the live stream, all the viewers were spammed with comments such as, "Well done, son," and, "Director Li is in danger, danger, danger." Li Jianyu wanted to cry but had no tears. "No, I mean, both of you should go to sleep. It's just a literal meaning. Sister E, please don't misinterpret it." Xiangyi nodded. In order not to disturb Shui, she carefully leaned against the sofa, closed her eyes, and fell asleep smoothly. In the blink of an eye, the little girl's breathing was even and shallow. She had actually fallen asleep. In fact, Xiangyi was just forcing herself to stay awake. Over the past month, she had spent a lot of effort in the game, and her mind had been very tense. Now that she was in front of Shui and her family, she could finally let down her guard and fall asleep peacefully. Li Jianyu cut off the live stream right when Xiangyi and Shui fell asleep. Thus, on this day, a few strange trending topics appeared. #sleep together, #, literally sleeping, #, round up how old is the child, #. Of course, other than the fact that they were a couple, Xiangyi once again gained countless fans in just half an hour of interaction. The girls' IQ and EQ were impeccable. Even Sister Shui had a big fan of hers, who posted sentimental essays. "Time doesn't age but Shui doesn't give up v. All this time, I've been resistant to the idea of Shui being in a relationship. It's that kind of feeling. You know that Xiangyi is very good, you know that she's fair-skinned, rich, and beautiful, but you still can't accept her. Some people say that you're jealous. I say that I'm worried. I'm worried that such a good person like him will fall in love with her. I'm worried that such a good person like him will give more than he gets. But today, I'm finally relieved. Except for Sister Shui, in this world, the only person who likes and cares about Shui is, there's already Sister E. Red Heart. Chapter 843. This big fan's words resonated with many of the Shui sisters. Yes, they didn't dislike Xiangyi. That feeling was probably similar to hearing their parents talk about other people's children. They acknowledged her excellence, but there was also a subtle resistance. However, gradually, that resistance seemed to have disappeared. The reason why they had changed their opinion of Xiangyi was not just because of the small fact that she let Shui lean on her shoulder today. Instead, it was because of the subtle recognition that had accumulated over time. They finally understood that the relationship between Xiangyi and Shui had never been one-sided. Neither of them was dependent on the other. On this day, Shui's sisters, who had always been arrogant, publicly expressed that they were barely able to make do with Xiangyi. They thought that Xiangyi was not bad. The spicy Tutu sisters were speechless. It was quite sudden. However, the spicy Tutu sisters didn't take this matter to heart. They did whatever they wanted and went to watch the videos of Sister E cooking, gardening, playing the zither, treating illnesses, and drawing talismans. The Shui sisters were speechless. Hey, we don't care about our pride anymore. Aren't you going to welcome us? Damn it. If you continue to talk to the spicy Tutu sisters, we'll never eat spicy rabbit heads again. Wait a minute, Xiangyi's birthday is coming soon. Seeing that the spicy Tutu sisters were still acting as if nothing had happened, the Shui sisters broke their vow and earnestly reminded them on #SpicyTutu Super Chat. Your Tutu's birthday is coming soon. The spicy Tutu sisters' reaction was, oh? The Shui sisters were speechless. Don't you look at the personal information of your artists? They tried to impart their valuable support experience to the spicy Tutu sisters. For example, they could buy advertising spots in squares, subways, and public buses. For example, they could do public welfare, repair roads, repair elementary schools, plant trees, and rescue stray cats. Another example would be endorsements, buying clothes, hand sanitizer, noodles, and snail powder. The spicy Tutu sisters replied calmly, a waste of money. Illegal fundraising. Can you buy it? The Shui sisters were speechless. That hurts. Xiangyi slept all the way until evening. When he woke up, his whole body felt refreshed after a good night's sleep. Shui was sitting next to her, reading the script in her hands. She seemed to have sensed her gaze and turned to look at her. Xiangyi rubbed her eyes, wiped the corners of her mouth, and combed her hair in a flurry. Because she had just woken up, her movements were slow by half a beat, making her look adorable. Where are my brothers? Xiangyi asked. The corners of Shui's lips curled up as he pinched her little face. They left. The light in Xiangyi's eyes dimmed. Did Daddy do something again? Do they hate me again? The girl's voice was a little nasal, but she pretended to be indifferent. Don't overthink it. TSK, I promise to keep it a secret. Shui said. They went to the old mansion to prepare for your birthday celebration, and the staff members are also there. There should be a live broadcast. Xiangyi covered his mouth. You didn't say anything, so you didn't go against your principles. Shui chuckled softly, a gentle smile on her face. It's okay. Others can't do it, but Sister E is different. In front of Sister E, I can go against my principles. Xiangyi felt her ears start to burn again. She pinched them gently with her fingertips and suddenly thought of something. Then, tonight, are we the only two left at home? Chapter 844. The sound of running water could be heard from the bathroom. Xiangyi sat on the tatami beside the floor-to-ceiling window. Her head was so hot that it was about to emit smoke. She was nervously tugging at the bunny ears of her stuffed toy. Thinking about the conversation in the past 2 hours, her ears turned even redder in embarrassment. Then, tonight, are we the only ones left at home? Shui replied with a faint as if he did not think much of it. What do you want to eat? I'll make it. Anything. They had a simple dinner, watched a movie, and drank some wine. Then, he pretended to be drunk and dragged her back to his room. Xiangyi took a deep breath and told herself not to think about the content of the manga that Fu Yunhua showed her. She was not nervous. Creak, the bathroom door was pulled open. Xiangyi's first reaction was to hide under the coffee table. Fortunately, her rationality came online in time and she did not do anything embarrassing. She struggled for a long time before coming up with the wording. Well, I don't think I'm that drunk. Why don't you go back? When she saw Shui's appearance, the latter half of her sentence was instantly stuck. Unlike the restrained and abstinent style of pajamas in the past, Shui was only wearing a pair of gray sweatpants today. The belt hung loosely, looking lazy and wanton. Looking up, it was a perfect and superior figure. His shoulders and back were broad, but his muscles were not exaggerated. His cold and fair abs were distinct, and two distinct V-lines snaked into his sweatpants. He held a towel with one hand to dry his hair, as if he did not hear Xiangyi's words. What did you say? Xiangyi's milky white face was super serious. I said I drank too much. Shui chuckled softly, looking so charming and flirtatious. His little bunny, why was she so cute? Xiangyi continued to be super serious. I'm also drunk, very drunk, the kind that will go crazy. Shui raised his eyebrows, his expression languid and leisurely as he drawled, It's okay, I'll let you trample on me. Whoosh, this time, Xiangyi couldn't take it anymore. She buried her head under the coffee table. Letting her do whatever she wanted to him was just too embarrassing. By the time Shui dug a certain little rabbit out from under the table, the girl's ears had already turned red all the way to her fair neck. Why is your face so red? Do you have a headache? It's still all right. The two of them were so close that she could smell the sweet orange scent of Shui. Thump, thump, Xiangyi swallowed her saliva, and her mind involuntarily started to wander off to the manga that Fu Yunhua had given her, Not Wearing Clothes. Cough, she only went to take a look at the Liao out of the spirit of scientific research. I heard that exercise can promote alcohol metabolism. I'll dry your hair for you. The buzzing sound of the hairdryer rang in the room. Xiangyi's movements were gentle. She deliberately moved the hairdryer further away and carefully blew Shui's hair. The man's hair was short, and he blew it dry quickly. It's done. Xiangyi turned around to put the hairdryer in. A pair of large hands grabbed her slender wrists from behind. Tutu. The same two words, but when Shui said them, the feeling was different from when her brothers said them. You finished metabolizing the alcohol? Xiangyi didn't even have time to reply before she heard the man's mocking voice again. Aren't you going to go crazy? Big brother is waiting for you. The girl lost her usual calmness and was embarrassed. I don't know how to. Shui gently kneaded the soft flesh at the back of her neck. Be good, big brother will teach you. Chapter 845. Xiangyi's eyelashes fluttered twice, and she asked in confusion, Can this be taught? The moment she finished speaking, the pair of big hands on the back of her neck moved down along her spine. Like small electric current flowers, they exploded at her nerve endings. Ugh, the girl didn't hold the hairdryer firmly in her hand, and it accidentally fell on the soft carpet. But no one cared. Xiangyi suddenly chickened out. I don't want to learn, unfortunately, it was too late. The black-bellied wolf removed the disguise of abstinence, squinted his eyes, and swung the big tail behind him in satisfaction. The little rabbit was firmly held in his arms in an extremely domineering and possessive posture. The warm breath wrapped around the tip of her ear, spreading down little by little. The touch was wonderful and tugging at her heartstrings. Xiangyi's slender shoulders trembled slightly. You don't seem to be teaching it right. For example, her little uncle liked to climb trees when he was drunk, her fourth brother liked to hug and kiss furry toys when he was drunk, and her third brother would crazily act coquettishly when he was drunk, asking to be hugged and lifted high. Shui's drunken teaching something was very wrong. Silly rabbit. The man's throat overflowed with a low chuckle, and his thin lips pressed against the girl's red collarbone. Big brother lied to you. Don't be afraid. The man's coaxing voice was husky, like a feather tickling the tip of her heart. Both of their breaths became hot. At this moment, the phone suddenly rang. Shui glanced at it and saw that the caller ID was Xiang Feng, so she directly hung up. Just as she was about to continue drunken madness with the little rabbit, the phone began to buzz and vibrate non-stop. Shi Sui's temples faintly twitched, and she used the last of her patience to look at the screen. Fong Fong de Ji de Li, Sui Sui. Are you there? Fong Fong de Ji de Li, urgent urgent urgent. It's very urgent. Shi Sui frowned. After all, they were good friends for many years, and she was worried that something had happened to him, so she replied with a question mark. Xiang Feng sent a voice message that was dozens of seconds long. Sui Sui. I thought of a great gift idea. On little Xiangyi's birthday, I'll prepare a huge gift box for her. Then, I'll lie inside it. When she opens the gift, she'll see me inside. Aren't you surprised? That wasn't the end of it. I was going to pretend to be dead inside and scare her into crying. Then, would sit up and make her smile through her tears, making her even happier. What do you think? Isn't it wonderful? After waiting for a long time, Xiang Feng didn't receive a reply, so he sent an emoji over in confusion. A notification popped up on the screen. Shi Sui from Tudu's family has activated friend verification. You're not her friend yet. Send a friend verification request first. You can only chat after the other party accepts the request. Xiang Feng? What did he do wrong? Why did he have to be so heartless to him? The atmosphere was interrupted. Shi Sui hesitated, wondering if she should let it go. Who would have thought? Xiangyi poked his arm. Her voice was soft and trembling slightly. Don't you want to continue? Like a fuse of turbulent emotions, Shi Sui's Adam's apple bobbed. He lifted the hair on the girl's cheek and tucked it behind her ear. Her jet-black hair twined and loosened around his fingertips. It was a warm and ambiguous action. Their eyes met, and they moved closer bit by bit. Suddenly, there was a series of scratching sounds on the door, accompanied by Xiao Naofu's anxious cries. Shi Sui, ignore it. Xiangyi hesitated, but she pushed Shi Sui away. I'll go see if it's hungry. Shi Sui, very good, the sterilization plan can be restarted, smiley face. Chapter 846. Xiangyi quickly opened the door while Xiao Naofu scurried towards her. What's the matter? Xiangyi squatted down and picked up the kitten. Xiao Naofu sobbed aggrievedly and used its meaty little paw to point at the location of the cat villa. Xiangyi immediately sensed that something was amiss. Little Shiji, who had always been inseparable from Xiao Naofu, was nowhere to be seen. She walked over and saw a tablet in little Shiji's nest. She vaguely had a hunch. The screen lit up to see that there was an edited letter on it. The letter was divided into 3 parts. To Sister E, thank you, Sister E, for taking care of me these past few days. The food you cook is really delicious. It's the most delicious food I've ever eaten in all the worlds I've transmigrated to. To Shi Sui. There's nothing much to say. Don't bully Xiao Naofu, I'll protect it. To Xiao Naofu, by the time you read this letter, should have already left. Don't be sad, I left because my mission has been completed. I'll come back to look for you when I go back to deal with some matters. By the way, the main system said that your reincarnation failed because of Ling Ye's interference and it will compensate you soon. While I'm away, you have to eat well and drink milk well. Don't always steal canned food and dried fish. You have to sleep in the nest and cover yourself well with the blanket. You can sleep anywhere you want in my nest, it's very clean. By the way, if you miss me, you can look at #WesternSuitedCouples posts. There are photos and videos of us together. It's okay if you don't miss me. Goodbye, Xiao Naofu. After reading it, Xiangyi sighed. Although she knew that this day would come sooner or later, she felt a little melancholic. Xiao Naofu nestled in her arms and quietly wiped its tears. Xiangyi forced herself to cheer up and comforted Xiao Naofu. We have to believe in little Shiji. It will definitely come back and we'll be able to see each other then. Xiao Naofu, meow, meow, what if little Shiji doesn't come back? Who else can it bully? Who else would be willing to be bullied by it? The more Xiao Naofu thought about it, the more upset he felt. He sobbed and cried non-stop. Xiangyi was affected by it, and her eyes also turned red. She packed up little Shiji's bowl and toys and placed them in a cardboard box, after which she wrote "Little Shiji" on it. "When little Shiji comes back, shall we open the box together?" Xiao Naofu wept and nodded. The top of its head was suddenly rubbed twice by a warm hand. Xiao Naofu smelled the familiar scent of a dog-like man, and its fur instantly exploded. However, the D*MN man didn't talk about sterilization or cat meat hotpot today. Instead, he gently coaxed her. "Kitty, I won't bully you anymore." Xiao Naofu's ears perked up. Really? Suddenly, she didn't feel so sad anymore. Shi Sui said calmly, "You're already a grown-up kitten, so you have to learn to be mature, independent, and strong." However, that's definitely nothing to Xiao Naofu. "You're the most mature, independent, and strong, aren't you?" Xiao Naofu felt giddy after hearing the D*MN man's words, as if it had drunk a few kilograms of fake alcohol. It raised its chin and meowed proudly. "Humph, I'm just that outstanding." In the next second, the D*MN man grabbed the back of its neck mercilessly and threw it into the cat mansion. Kata. The door of the cage was locked. "Good night, little Shiji." Xiao Naofu. "Damn you, D*MN man." Chapter 847. This time, Xiangyi was carried back to the room by Shi Sui. And in front of Xiao Naofu. Xiao Naofu roared ferociously. "Damn it! Why does this scumbag feel like he's taking revenge on me?" In the bedroom. Shi Sui carried Xiangyi with one hand and locked the door with the other. Double security. That stupid cat shouldn't be able to enter. Put me down. It was too embarrassing to be carried on his shoulders. This was an experience that Xiangyi had never experienced before. The man's voice was languid. "Listen to Tutu." Xiangyi thought he would put her down by the window. She had carefully decorated that area for a long time. The tatami mats, the couch, and the small coffee table were all carefully selected. There were also all kinds of soft pillows, cute dolls, and small ornaments. She didn't expect that Shi Sui would place her on the bed. The girl panicked and subconsciously wanted to escape, but the man grabbed her wrist and easily pulled her back. What are you doing?" The little bunny trembled and quickly rolled up the thin quilt. Shi Sui looked at her with a faint smile. "What do you want to do by tricking your brother here?" "Hit the nail on the head." Xiangyi felt guilty and didn't dare to look at him. She said vaguely, Is that so? Why don't we talk somewhere else? It feels weird on the bed. Are you scared now?" Shi Sui raised his eyebrows. "Do you still dare to do it in the future?" Xiangyi said honestly, yes. Shi Sui was so angry that he laughed. He simply lifted the thin quilt and lay down beside her. Xiangyi, no. Shi Sui said, "Okay, go ahead." "I heard you." Xiangyi, the little girl, pulled up the quilt and covered half of her face. Although her brothers doted on her, they abided by the principle that men and women should keep their distance from her since she was young. She didn't have many friends and Zhang Jiujiu was very busy practicing the zither and going to school. The two of them would occasionally meet, but they couldn't fall asleep at all and would talk all night long. Shi Sui was considered the first person she had slept with in a serious manner. "How have you been in the past month?" Shi Sui asked in the quiet room. Xiangyi picked out some interesting things to tell him, such as helping Brother Fatty attract customers with food, making all kinds of accessories for Fu Yunhue and Little White, and fighting with Fu Zichuan with a mecha. The girl had only mentioned it casually, but Shi Sui had grasped the main point very accurately. Fu Zichuan. He's Fu Yunue's brother. He's extremely powerful. His martial prowess is high, his mecha piloting is first-rate, and he even knows how to command an interstellar fleet in battle. She rattled on and on about Fu Zichuan's good points. Caught off guard, she met Shi Sui's deep eyes and instantly realized that something was wrong. Before she could explain herself, the hand around her waist suddenly tightened, after an unknown period of time. The girl lay on the bed and fell asleep out of exhaustion. Shui wrapped his arms around her slender waist and sneered softly, "You're just a little bunny who has evil intentions but no guts." Thinking of Fu Zichuan whom she mentioned, he pressed the tip of his tongue against the roof of his mouth. She actually praised another man, he was just displeased. It was breakfast time the next day. Xiangyi felt her back ache and she was even more tired than cooking 100 dishes. On the other hand, Shui was refreshed and squinted his eyes like a sly old fox. "Shall I massage your back?" "No, no." Xiangyi waved her hand repeatedly to turn him down. Coincidentally, a call came in and she pressed the answer button. "Miss Xiangyi, there's someone outside who wants to see you." She claims to be Shui's mother. The following words are free of charge. I wrote a bug previously. Let me correct it. Shui's father is recuperating abroad and her mother is a strong career woman who has a conflict with Shui. Please. Moon. Vote. Duck. Good night. Chapter 848. Auntie Shu was looking for her? Xiangyi was a little confused. She hung up the phone and told Shui about his mother. Shui said, "She might have something to tell you." "Do you want to go with me to see her?" Xiangyi asked. "She might not want to see me." Although Shui's tone was calm, Xiangyi could sense a hint of loneliness in his voice. She kissed his forehead and said, "Then wait for me here. You have to eat well and drink all the milk. Don't be picky." Shui raised his eyebrows. Was he being taught a lesson by the little bunny? But this feeling was not bad. After Xiangyi left his sight, the smile in Shui's eyes faded and was replaced by a gloomy look. In the glass greenhouse, warm sunlight refracted into the room, making it look like the fairyland that Alice had dreamt about. Xiangyi poured a cup of rose tea for Xia. She was sitting upright with her back straight. Her posture and actions were impeccable, just like a textbook example of a virtuous lady. The Shu family attached great importance to etiquette, and Xia was considered her elder. Xiangyi showed the attitude of a junior, but she was neither servile nor overbearing, and did not lose her poise. Xia was extremely beautiful. Time seemed to be very tolerant of her and there were no traces of age on her face. She took a sip of the flower tea. The sweetness of the rose and the fragrance of the green tea blended together to create a rich and sweet taste. However, she only took a sip and put down the cup. She did not touch it again. "The last time I saw you, you were only 7 or 8 years old. In the blink of an eye, you have grown up." Xia's tone was gentle. "How are your grandparents?" Xiangyi said, "Auntie, thank you for your concern. Everything is fine." Xia was silent for a few seconds and said, "I heard that you and Shui are together?" Xiangyi nodded without hesitation. "Yes, we are dating. I watched you grow up. There are some things that I think you should know." You two have just started dating. You haven't seen his true colors yet. As time passes, you'll realize that everyone with the surname Shu is a lunatic." Xiangyi noticed that Xia had deliberately emphasized the word lunatic. "So, Auntie, why are you here?" Xia whispered, "Leave him. The Shu family had the genes of lunatics, and Shui would one day go crazy too. Xiangyi, your mother and I are old friends. I can't watch her daughter fall into the devil's mire and end up as miserable as I was back then. You don't know, you can't imagine how painful it is to live with a madman all day long. Shui is just a good-looking boy. He has witnessed his father's." Xia seemed to be unwilling to talk about the past and vaguely said, "In short, his father is trash. He's the same. He might even be worse than trash." After saying this, she felt relieved as if the sword of Damocles that had been hanging over her head all these years had finally disappeared. She thought that she would see panic and fear on Xiangyi's face, but she did not expect the girl to remain calm. "Auntie, thank you for your advice." Xia could not understand her reaction. "Don't you understand? I said that Shui has the genes of that person. Xiangyi interrupted her. The girl's voice was calm. Auntie, he is also half your blood bond. Shu Xia gritted her teeth. That was the most humiliating thing in my life. Chapter 849. Looking back on the past, Shu Xia felt that everything was unbearable. To her, the so-called love wasn't beautiful at all. It was all pain and torture. Father Sure had outstanding attainments in art. When he was in his 20s, he had already achieved something that countless painters couldn't achieve in their lifetime. However, his love was stubborn and insidious. It was possessive and controlling. From restricting her social interactions at the beginning, it was extreme to restricting her freedom in the end. Shu Xia shuddered at the thought of those dark days. At that time, she thought that the only person she could rely on was her son, Shui. However, what made her bitterly disappointed was that the 4 or 5-year-old Shui actually stood in his father's position and advised her to obey Father Sure. He even once said, "Mommy, Daddy just loves you too much." Thinking of this sentence, Shu Xia retched. Because the psychological trauma was too serious, her face paled visibly. Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid that he'll turn into a lunatic, a monster, or a devil? He'll lock you up and not let you see anyone. He'll control your diet, clothes, even the fragrant shower gel will be chosen by him. Shu Xia sneered. You're still young. Maybe you've been poisoned by those novels and comics. You think that being a caged canary and a dodder flower clinging to a man is a romantic love that people yearn for. No. Let me tell you, that's not love at all. It's just a perverted restriction of personal freedom. She leaned against the back of the chair and closed her eyes tiredly as if she had exhausted all her strength. Xiangyi added some hot tea to the cup that she hadn't touched much. Auntie, I sympathize with your experience. After going through all that, it must be difficult for you to walk out of it. Shu Xia revealed a gratified smile. It's good that you can wake up in time. However, Xiangyi's next words froze her smile. Uncle Sure is Uncle Sure. Shui is Shui. Even if they are bound by blood, they are still independent individuals. You don't treat Shui as your son. I respect your choice. But he's not trash, and he's not crazy. Although there are times when he's childish and even bullies kittens, he's the best, most gentle, and most reliable man in the world. Shu Xia looked at the girl in front of her in disbelief. Why? Why? She had even revealed the secret that she had kept for so many years. Why hadn't Xiangyi left Shui yet? Shu Xia's chest heaved up and down, and it took her a long time to calm down. She regained her noble and elegant appearance and took out a card from her limited edition crocodile leather bag. I've already said what I wanted to say. It's up to you whether you want to listen or not. Take this card, and I'll pretend that I don't have a son. Shu Xia said proudly, remember, if you choose him, then I won't give you my blessings. Never. Xiangyi frowned and took out a wallet from her third brother's canvas bag. After opening it, she saw a stack of black and gold cards. Under the sunlight, it was almost blinding. Xiangyi took out the cards one by one slowly and placed them in front of Shu Xia. Auntie, this is a small token of my respect. Please remember that you didn't abandon Shui. Shui doesn't want you anymore. He has me for the rest of his life. Chapter 850. Shu Xia left out of anger. She left in a disheveled state, just as elegant as she came. She naturally couldn't accept Xiangyi's cards, but the cards that she threw at her were worse than slapping her in the face. Phew. Xiangyi exhaled and couldn't help but put a hand to her forehead when she recalled her childish behavior just now. She had only seen her uncle throw the cards at her and she felt extremely ashamed back then. However, today, she felt a little exhilarated. Ahem. She inadvertently looked around and saw the slender figure under the gardenia tree not far away. Xiangyi got up and scurried over. Shui was twirling a cigarette in his hand but he didn't smoke it. He looked down and the emotions in his eyes couldn't be discerned. Xiangyi asked cautiously, did you see everything? Yes. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I just couldn't take it anymore, so I threw those cards at her. I forgot that there were so many of them. Her uncle and grandparents would give her supplementary cards and pocket money cards from time to time, not to mention her brothers. Since she was a child, Xiangyi had never received any cash in the red packets she received. They were either cards or deposit slips, Xiangyi explained softly, and her whole body was suddenly hugged. Shui buried his head in her neck and rubbed it twice. He was such a mature and serious man, but now, he was acting like a spoiled child. Tutu, you're very good. You're the best in the world. Xiangyi said with a smile. Some people say that I'm speaking in an appropriate manner, and some people say that Xiangyi has been passed down from generation to generation. It seems to make sense. Shui hugged her even tighter. Can I hug you for a while? Xiangyi wrapped her arms around his waist. Sure, boyfriend. Xiao Naofu, who was watching the show in the corner of the greenhouse, was speechless. Is it popular to lure Hohu in and kill him now? I suddenly miss little Shiji. If it's here, it'll hug me too, more than 10 seconds later. Shui let go of Xiangyi and adjusted his mood. I'm sorry for making you suffer. Shui laughed self-deprecatingly. I didn't give my blessing to our family. Xiangyi shook her head. No, it doesn't matter if she doesn't bless us. We don't need her blessing. She doesn't want you, but I want you. Shui, don't be sad. Anyway, I won't allow it. The little girl's serious look with a taut little face made one's heart flutter. Shui chuckled. Okay, listen to Tutu. Shu Xia was right to a certain extent. He had inherited Father Shi's genes, stubborn and heartless. He had heard worse words countless times, but he had never taken them to heart. From the beginning to the end, he was worried that Xiangyi would be wronged. By the way, when is your birthday? I remember Uncle said that you were born in autumn. Why did your personal information say that you were born on January 1st? Xiangyi changed the subject. Shui said. I don't know. Huh? Shui said helplessly, I really don't know, no one remembers. His birth was an accident. At that time, Shu Xia was born prematurely, and Father Shi's mental condition was already very bad. He refused to send Shu Xia to the hospital and hired a medical staff to deliver the baby at home. Although they hired a top doctor, Shu Xia and Father Shi got into a heated argument. In the chaos, everyone forgot which day Shui was born and only remembered the approximate time frame. Chapter 851. Xiangyi was stunned for a moment. She hit her forehead, feeling a little annoyed. If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have asked. Shui grabbed her wrist and teased, my girlfriend is not allowed to hit herself without permission. Come, let me do it for you. He bent down and approached Xiangyi. Xiangyi retracted her small hand and pecked his cheek lightly like a dragonfly skimming the water. Boyfriend, do you want to celebrate my birthday with me? This time, the person who was stunned was Shui. I'll take it that you agree if you don't say anything. Xiangyi's doe-like eyes were filled with gentle moonlight. Then it's settled. I'll go prepare a gift for you. You're not allowed to peek. The girl ran back to the living room. Shui's Adam's apple bobbed. After a while, he suppressed his emotions and smiled. How lucky was he to meet his little bunny? Star City. In less than 10 days, the popularity of the account, Bunny, had plummeted and disappeared from the public eye. Stopped live streaming and used the star coins in her account to buy things without restraint. She even listened to people's words and bought the so-called wealth management products that guaranteed profits and no losses. She even paid off the loan. When she woke up, she realized that all her money had been taken away. Almost fainted. Soon, she was exiled to the barren Original Sin planet because she couldn't pay off the loan. She wanted to ask Fu Zichuan for help, but she couldn't contact him at all. When she finally contacted Fu Yunyue, the other party's attitude was very cold. Couldn't figure it out and asked, aren't we good friends? Everyone in the galaxy knows that we're very close. You've given me so many gifts. Fu Yunhua, I'm sorry, that's a reward for Tutu, not for you. Yi refused to admit it. I'm Tutu, really. I'm not lying to you. There was no reply for a long time. She sent another message, only to realize that she had been blocked. Yi's vision turned black, and she was in complete despair. She finally paid the price for her greed in courting death. After being exiled, Yi's optical computer was also confiscated. In the optical computer, Ling Yi was still fighting against the virus. He calculated the results. According to the current progress, he would be able to break the virus in 123 years and regain his freedom. However, that day would never come. The main system has found Ling Yi's location. It was only when he truly faced the main system that Ling Yi realized just how weak his so-called secondary system was. He couldn't even withstand a single blow. The main system had been operating for many years, and the amount of energy it had accumulated was undoubtedly terrifying. The simulated photon beam bombarded Ling Yi a few times, and Ling Yi's core data was damaged, causing him to fall into a near-death state. What shocked him even more was that the main system didn't kill him right away. Instead, it started the process of devouring him. Ling Yi's figure appeared on the main system's screen when he had devoured 2/3 of it. It was like a child discovering a new world for the first time, constantly changing its shape. Men, women, cats, dogs, and even all kinds of strange creatures. When it changed to Fu Zichuan's face, it exclaimed. It seemed a little familiar. That's not right. It searched through Ling Yi's memories and found Shui's appearance. Wasn't this? The main system immediately locked onto Shui's world through the countless planes of existence. Finally, it locked onto Shui's world. Xiangyi had ordered a lot of gifts for Shui. She inadvertently opened Weibo and saw the top trending topic. The girl's pupils shrank. #Shui lunatic #. Chapter 852. She tapped on the trending topic with her slender and soft fingertips. The page jumped to a video interview with a certain media outlet. The interviewee was Xu Xia. Xiangyi's fingertips trembled as she fast-forwarded through the entire interview. In the half-hour interview, Xu Xia lost control of her emotions several times and kept mentioning Shui and his father. The Shu family members all have mental problems. Shui has displayed emotional and cognitive disorders since he was a child. He's cold and emotionless, just like a block of wood. He doesn't know how to speak even when he's 4 or 5 years old. He's not likable at all. I don't want to admit that he's my son. I didn't want to talk about these things at first. The reason why I'm standing up is to prevent women from being hurt like I did back then. Being imprisoned in a cage like a canary isn't romantic love at all. It's illegal imprisonment of personal freedom. This interview was obviously paid to be trending, but because the content was too shocking, it still caused a huge uproar on the internet. What the F***CK? Is this Shui's biological mother? She's so beautiful. So does the Shu family have some kind of hereditary mental illness? Shui acted like a lunatic in the movie that he won the Best Actor award for previously. Could it be that he's acting himself? I'm just a passerby. I feel that Ms. Shu's values are too righteous. I hate those kinds of love views that promote paranoia and mental illness. They're obviously the dregs of the flourishing consumer culture and entertainment industry. His biological mother is coming out to beat him. Shui's mental condition must be very worrying, right? I feel bad for Sister Yi. She found a lunatic to be her boyfriend. With her qualifications, she can get any man she wants. In an instant, rumors spread everywhere. All the gossip accounts were like flies that had smelled rotten meat, trying to gain popularity without any bottom line. Even the headlines were eye-catching, shocking. Shui is suspected to have a mental disorder. Click here to see a certain Shui's biological mother revealing the secrets of a wealthy family. Untimely breakup crisis. The boyfriend she's dating is mentally unstable. Where should the nation's sister go? Xiangyi called Si Chuanbai and told him to deal with it immediately. Si Chuanbai said with a headache, "It's already in the public relations department. It's not difficult to remove the trending topic, but I found some clues." The person who volunteered to be interviewed was Madame Xu, and the account information of the person who bought the trending topic was traced to Madame Xu's bank card. "I'm afraid there's something else." Xiangyi clenched her phone and gently exhaled before she calmly replied, "All right, I got it." The girl stepped on her slippers and looked around for Shi Sui. Through the floor-to-ceiling window, she saw a thin and slender figure. Shi Sui was looking at her phone. She swiped a few times casually, looking indifferent as if she had expected this. He took out the cigarette box and suddenly thought of something. He threw the cigarette and lighter directly into the trash can. Xiangyi's heart clenched. What was Shi Sui like when she was a child? She tried her best to picture it in her mind, but it was all in vain. After all, the two of them were separated by 7 years. She suddenly wondered if Shi Sui would be very lonely at that time. Shi Sui replied to Si Chuanbai, Xiang Feng, and the others' messages. Then, she sent a few WeChat messages to a person named Dr. Gu. Hearing the familiar sound of footsteps, Shi Sui looked up and was knocked into the arms of a young girl who was running over. "You're not like what they said." The tip of the girl's nose turned sour. She was even sadder than when she was scolded. "You're the best." Chapter 853. Even the summer wind seemed to have become gentle. Shi Sui patted Xiangyi's back and said in a lazy voice, "It's nothing. It's really nothing." Xiangyi looked up and stared at him for a while before whispering, "If you want to cry, I can lend you my shoulder." Shi Sui chuckled and said, "Why is our tutu so nice?" Xiangyi said seriously, "You're the best." Whether it was the coat he used to block her way when she was 16 years old or the tissue he handed her when she cried when she missed her parents, they were all like family members, supporting Xiangyi's belief in doing tasks when she was about to transmigrate to another world. She was absent from Shi Sui's life for 7 years, but she wanted to give Shi Sui a future. "All right, Si Chuanbai will deal with those messy things." Shi Sui pinched Xiangyi's cheek and said, "It's your birthday tomorrow. Our tutu must be happy." "We're celebrating our birthdays together," Xiangyi corrected him. Shi Sui was silent for a while and said, "Sister E, let me tell you a little secret. I've never celebrated my birthday before I debuted." "Huh?" Xiangyi was stunned. "Isn't it? It's quite funny." Shi Sui scratched his eyebrows with his fingertips. His eyebrows were high, making his peach blossom eyes look deep and affectionate. "No one remembers my real birthday. The company randomly filled in my birthday date. Later on, my fans would celebrate my birthday at that time. Although it's not my real birthday, I'm still very happy every year." Xiangyi felt a little sorry for him, but she hid it with a smile. "Then, you can celebrate your birthday twice a year." Shi Sui smiled and said, "Yes, I've profited." Those dark, suffocating, and depressing memories were still there, but they would no longer affect him. His memories were now filled with a girl named Xiangyi. They became bright, gorgeous, and dazzling. Day and night alternated. The hot searches changed again and again. The popularity of Xu Xia's interview decreased greatly, but there were still people who paid attention to it. Everyone was speculating whether Shi Sui had a mental disorder or not. Rainy Night, which he had previously starred in, had also been dug out and analyzed frame by frame. From his micro-expressions to his body language, he did not miss a single detail. The climax of the movie was when the protagonist, played by Shi Sui, sat on the sofa and smoked after killing someone. As he smoked, he laughed until tears came out of his eyes. Although there was a twist at the end and everything was just the protagonist's imagination, those few minutes became the most dazzling part of the entire film. It was regarded as one of the best acting skills in the history of film. However, after careful analysis, it seemed that Shi Sui had really gone mad. Otherwise, how could he act so well? There were quite a few people who held this view. In particular, when the live broadcast of Two Under One Roof began, everyone started gossiping about Shui in the comments section. Did you guys see the popular analysis? My mind is filled with Shuingdi's laughter. It's like he's really crazy. I think so too. How can a mother not love her child? Even his own mother said so. It must be because the crazy genes of the Shu family are too much. Is Shuingdi pretending to be gentle and refined these days? Oh my god, doesn't that mean he's a mental patient with acting skills? He's much more dangerous than ordinary mental patients. Of course, these people were soon taught a lesson by Shui's fighting skills. At this moment, Li Jianyu shouted, "We're here." Chapter 854. The audience's attention was immediately attracted. The cameraman, old Zhang, had also figured out what everyone was thinking. He got out of the car and took a shot of the Xiang family's old mansion from afar. It was a typical Chinese-style building that was not as exaggerated as everyone imagined. Instead, it was clean and fresh, like a traditional ink painting. Madame Xiang loved flowers, so Xiang Yin planted all kinds of flowers. From the gate to the courtyard, all kinds of flowers and plants were taken care of very well. Shui got out of the car and opened the door for Xiang Yi. Xiang Yi jumped out of the car with light footsteps and casually picked a rose from the side, which she then pinned to Shui's ear with a smile. Shui looked a little helpless, but she still smiled gently and let Xiang Yi do whatever she wanted. The pop-up comments of the live stream were instantly taken over by fans of the untimely couple. Those who wanted to gossip about Shui just now were dumbfounded by this scene. Is this the traffic of a top-notch variety show? There were so many pop-up comments that people couldn't even see their faces. Xiangyi said, "There may be a lot of people later, don't be nervous." Shui nodded. The audience thought that she was just saying it casually, but when the production crew entered the courtyard, they realized, it's not a lot. It's a ridiculous amount, okay? There was an open-air party set up in the courtyard, and more than 10 tables covered with white cloths were set up in the form of a buffet. There were staples, desserts, drinks, and so on. The courtyard was large, but because there were hundreds of people there, it actually seemed cramped. Upon sight of Xiangyi, a group of people surrounded her like stars surrounding the moon. "Miss Xiang, happy birthday. Miss Xiang, I hope you'll always be as beautiful as a flower. Ha ha ha, long time no see, Miss Xiang, you'll always be 18. These people were basically the partners of the Xiang family's company, and some of them were socialites and heirs. Their relationship with Xiangyi was so close that they couldn't even be considered plastic. Xiangyi maintained a polite smile, exuding an outstanding girlish aura, like a proud white swan. The apricot-colored dress was tailored to fit her body perfectly, and every stitch was personally sewn by Xiang Qi and his assistant. The hem of the dress was specially embroidered with layers of lace, and there were also various exquisite embroidery on the dress. It was an exclusive haute couture dress that even top celebrities couldn't borrow. In the live stream, my daughter is so beautiful. This set is amazing. Sister E really looks like the little princess. Her temperament is so good. Oh my god, is this Ms. Perfect's birthday party? I just checked and found out that the red wine on the table is brand E, and a bottle costs 5 digits. It's like a buffet, cac. Xiangyi held Shui's arm as they passed through the crowd and entered the inner courtyard through a circular arch. Only then did the audience realize that there was a completely different world inside. There were a few clumps of green bamboo, a few rockery, and a few clusters of flowers. Everywhere was filled with a sense of harmony and safety. There was a small wooden horse with rabbit ears, a swing with a bow tied to it, and a small rubber band tied to the sycamore tree. It was full of life. These things are actually still here. Xiangyi murmured softly. These were all things she had played with when she was young. She didn't expect them to be so well preserved. She felt a little guilty. After she moved out, it seemed that she rarely came back, little Xiangyi. Her uncle's voice pulled her back to reality from her melancholy. Xiangyi looked in the direction of the voice, and the corners of her mouth twitched slightly. She saw that Xiang Feng had countless gift boxes stuck to his body, and there was even a ribbon tied to his head. He looked just like a Santa Claus, in action, exuding a silly aura. He chuckled and said, "Come, open the gifts." Chapter 855. Xiangyi tilted her head and tapped her chin with her fingertips as she analyzed seriously. It must be a trap, just like the year before. Xiang Feng had used a similar trick before. He took out 5 boxes for Xiangyi to reach in and pick a gift. Xiangyi opened a box and felt something hard and cold. Xiang Feng laughed wickedly and said, "There's a box with a spider in it." Xiangyi retracted her hand. A spider the size of an adult's palm was crawling on the back of her hand. She was so scared that her face turned pale. Although Xiang Feng quickly explained that it was just a toy that mimicked a spider, he was still beaten up by the Demon King until he cried and crawled up a tree. Her gaze fell on the brightly colored gift boxes on Xiang Feng's body. Xiang Yi cautiously and carefully chose one. When she opened it, a small card fell out of the box. "Congratulations, you've won another precious lottery ticket. Are you surprised? Are you surprised?" Xiang Feng looked at her proudly, thinking that his idea was really wonderful. It was 100 times better than the play dead plan he had thought of before. Unexpectedly, the girl's face was solemn. When she opened the second box, she was very careful and was ready to escape at any time. Xiang Feng, was Qian Mian a little too forceful? He had left a shadow in little Xiangyi's heart. In the live stream, the audience was amused by the interaction between uncle and niece. Ha ha ha, where's the trust between people? What did little uncle give sister E before? 2333. I'm so immersed in this, I'm starting to get nervous with sister E. The second box was opened. Xiangyi immediately retreated and cautiously observed the contents of the box. It was still a small card, but this time, the content was frowny face. "Congratulations, you've won another 5 precious lottery tickets. You're the lucky girl." Xiang Feng, wow. 5 more draws, little Xiangyi is so lucky. Xiang Feng, was it an illusion? Why did it feel like his little niece didn't really want to draw? Sure Sui chuckled. "Excuse me, can a family member draw on your behalf?" Xiang Feng glared at him. "What kind of family member are you?" Xiangyi smiled. Sure, you can draw for me." The man's bony hands slowly opened the gift boxes. +2 lottery tickets, +1 lottery ticket, -3 lottery tickets. Xiangyi? Why is there a reduction? It won't be a negative number in the end? Audience, ha ha ha, you're giving a gift? Xiang Feng. In your eyes, am I such a scam? Am I not the most reliable uncle in the world? Xiang Yi didn't say anything, but her eyes said one thing. Doubt. Xiang Feng, oh? Underscore. Ohei was the one who brought shame upon himself. Shi Sui moved quickly and it didn't take long for him to open all the gift boxes on Xiang Feng's body. They were all small cards. 1 + 5 + 3 + 2 + 1 - 3. Shi Sui glanced at them and got the answer. 21, that's fast. Xiang Feng complained in a low voice. He cleared his throat and said, Congratulations, little Xiangyi. You've won a total of 21 lottery tickets. Each ticket can be exchanged for a gift, 21 years old, corresponding to 21 gifts. Xiangyi was stunned. So she had misunderstood her uncle. Xiang Feng said mysteriously, I didn't put a spider this time, I put a little frog. I caught it with my own hands. Ha 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 ha. Shi Sui. Audience? Xiangyi was so moved that she held back her tears. Chapter 856. Spiders and frogs happened to be the two creatures that Xiangyi was most afraid of. Xiang Feng, who had watched her grow up, knew this very well. The program crew looked at each other and came to a conclusion. Sure enough, there was a reason for everyone's love and bullying. The livestream viewers couldn't help but laugh. Oh, Xiang Feng, what kind of boss are you? Little frog, Xiang Feng, lonely, does it sound good? Smile, case solved, little uncle's bullying status is well deserved. No one can shake him. Even though her little uncle was indeed a little unreliable, Xiangyi still hugged Xiang Feng. "Little uncle, you're so nice," Xiang Feng said matter-of-factly. "Of course you're good to our little Xiangyi. Our little rabbit is worth it." Xiangyi's little face dimpled as her heart warmed. At this moment, Xiang Feng changed the topic. "We've already used spiders and little frogs. What surprise should we prepare for next year? Lizards? Snakes?" Little uncle's bad taste was really, Xiangyi sighed helplessly. Forget it, forget it. What else can my little uncle do? As long as he was happy." The three of them walked towards the living room. Xiang Feng was still showing off his excellent idea, skipping along as he walked when he suddenly heard his little niece whispering to Shi Sui. "Except for the little frog, I'll give you half of my gift later." The man chuckled. "Thank you, Sister E." Xiang Feng? Why did she dislike his little frog? He was the one who kissed it by the pond. Hand. Grab. Hand. The live stream viewers cheered, "Yes, yes, yes." What was this? This was a sugar duck. In the living room, everyone was changing their shoes at the entrance. Xiangyi naturally had her own exclusive bunny ear slippers. Xiang Feng and the other crew members were wearing ordinary gray slippers, but they were all new. As for Shi Sui, she had a pair of disposable slippers. The kind that the hotel gave away for free. Shi Sui didn't mind and calmly changed into them. Xiang Feng elbowed him and gloated, "It's your first time visiting, so it's inevitable that you'll feel wronged." Shi Sui smiled. "Why would I feel wronged? I'm happy that Tutu brought me home." The moment he opened his mouth, the old dragon's well had a strong taste. Xiang Feng, humph. Glib tongue. A cold sneer came from the kitchen. She looked in the direction of the voice to see that Xiang Yin was standing at the entrance of the kitchen with glutinous rice noodles in his hands. Xiang Yi's eyes curved with a smile. "Grandpa, are you making red bean cake?" "I'll do it for you." Xiang Yin glared at him and barked, "Go away, what are you doing?" A new fan in the live stream did not understand the situation and typed on the public screen, "Is Sister E and Grandpa not on good terms? Grandpa is so fierce." I'm almost crying through the screen. In the next second, Xiang Yin said loudly, "We don't have the rule of making girls work." New fans? Sorry to disturb you. The old fans replied calmly, "Young people, just get used to it, get used to it." Shi Sui naturally rolled up her sleeves and said, "Grandpa, let me do it." Xiang Yin sized her up from head to toe. Although he had already accepted her, he still said arrogantly, "You? Can you do it?" The viewers in the live stream were overjoyed and began to race to answer the question. I know how to answer this question. I suggest you all flood the screen with comments. Shi Sui, no. New fans? What? Aren't you all fans? Why are you so anti-fans? The anti-fans have been cornered by you. Chapter 857. Shi Sui didn't say much and simply entered the kitchen. She politely asked Xiang Yin a few questions and soon got the hang of it. A good-looking person would be pleasing to the eye no matter what he did. Shi Sui looked down and slowly pinched out red bean balls with her slender fingers. Xiang Yin could tell from her proficient posture that she must have done a lot of hard work. He humphed and started pinching the balls as well. Shi Sui deliberately slowed down her movements. Although she was a little slower than Xiang Yin, she wasn't so slow that she seemed clumsy. Seeing this, Xiang Yin smiled confidently. "Pushed, that's all there is to it." Xiang Yin said arrogantly, "Hey, you can't pinch the balls like that. Look at me, I have to do this so that I can pinch them quickly and beautifully." Shi Sui was very respectful and would humbly ask for advice from time to time. Her learning speed was neither fast nor slow, which fully satisfied Xiang Yin's desire to teach. Soon, Xiang Yin's hearty laughter came from the kitchen. Xiangyi, who was in the living room, heaved a sigh of relief. Great. Her brothers were sitting opposite her, and when they saw her rejoicing, they were all a little displeased. My sister, whom I've doted on for so many years, has actually learned to chase after an outsider. Xiang Yu threw the gift into Xiangyi's arms and said, I bought it casually, you can throw it away if you don't like it. I won't dislike a gift from you, brother, Xiangyi said with a gentle and obedient smile. Even the most cold-hearted person would be moved by her. It's so beautiful. I love it. Xiang Yu had given her a mechanical keyboard. Apart from the fact that the keyboard itself was a global limited edition, every keycap was personally designed, drawn, and colored by him. The aloof esports guru pressed down on his cap and said coolly, Pushed, it's just a keyboard, what's there to be happy about? I just casually colored it and installed it. I didn't expect you to like it so much. Despite saying that, the corners of Xiang Yu's mouth couldn't help but curl up. The viewers of the live stream were appalled. Smog, pay attention to your facial expressions, you're grinning from ear to ear. What a cute bunny pattern. You're telling me that you just casually drew it? One look and you can tell she put a lot of effort into this. Samayogu was amazing. He won the world championship with his hands and even painted a keycap for his sister. Assemble the keyboard. Without waiting for the audience to finish lamenting, Xiang Qi directly pushed him aside and came over with a big box. He did not look like a mysterious and gloomy designer at all. Instead, he looked like a naive person. Sister, you're not allowed to like his gift. You have to like me first. Xiangyi blinked her eyes. The desire to survive that had been cultivated since she was a child was not for show. She did not answer, but opened the box and changed the topic. Wow. So cute. Xiang Qi gave her a set of bunny dolls, and he even made dresses, shoes, hats, and bags for each of the dolls. If Xiangyi wanted to play dress-up games, she could change the bunny plushies for an entire afternoon. Xiang Qi said unhappily, just wow. Xiangyi took the hint. Wow. I've taught you for nothing. Xiang Qi crossed his arms, looking devilish and sinister, but the moment he opened his mouth, it made everyone's jaws drop. Yes, oh, there has to be a twist and a rise, okay? Xiangyi, wow, oh, Xiang Qi, that's more like it. The audience in the live stream couldn't stop laughing. Sanmao Ji's childishness is confirmed. Hades, what kind of elementary school behavior is this? Ha ha ha, teaching your sister to say, wow, may be a little late, but it will definitely happen. Chapter 858. After Xiang Qi finished teaching, Xiang Li handed his sister a paper bag and said in a warm and gentle voice, Happy birthday, Tutu. Xiangyi took it and opened it, only to find that there were various small bags inside, each of which had the name of a crop written on it. These are the super seeds developed by the Academy of Agricultural Sciences next door. I'm just offering them to you. Xiangyi was speechless. I can plant seeds again. Happy. Thank you, second brother. I'll definitely record the growth process properly and send you feedback when the time comes. This was also a small contribution to the Academy of Agricultural Sciences. Xiang Li patted her little head and said, as long as Tutu likes it, the data isn't important. Is there anything else you want to plant? Do you want seeds of flowers and plants? Sure, I want to make another glass greenhouse, adjust the temperature and humidity, and plant some tropical plants. By the way, I also want to raise birds. Brother, do you think it's better to raise pigeons or parrots? Pigeons. Xiang Li smiled like a spring breeze. Don't you like to eat roasted pigeons? The viewers of the live stream, pigeons, you're despicable. You're craving my body. Pigeons are so cute, how can you treat them like this? Please send me one when you're done roasting them. Boo-hoo, Dr. Chu is so gentle. His knowledge and information density are far higher than that of ordinary people, but he's still willing to listen to Sister Yi's nonsense. He's so knowledgeable and gentle, I love him so much. After the three brothers gave their gifts, everyone's eyes converged on Sangchen. As always, he was dressed in a suit and leather shoes. His dark gray suit was neatly ironed, and his tie and cuffs were meticulously groomed. His temperament was like a cedar standing tall on a snowy mountain, cold and distant. He took out a card from his pocket and handed it to Xiangyi with a calm expression, as if the gift was not worth mentioning. "It's a small gift, accept it." Xiang Feng, who was at the side, exclaimed, "Little Chen Chen, isn't this your salary card?" Sengchen frowned and glanced at him coldly. Xiang Feng suddenly didn't dare to say anything. The audience. The live streaming room, which was already bustling with activity, was now in an uproar. I'm jealous, I'm a lemon essence, orange essence, grapefruit essence. Other girls' boyfriends won't let me down, and other girls' brothers won't let me down either. Crack crack crack, I've seen a husband hand over his salary card to his wife, but this is the first time I've seen an older brother hand over his salary card to his younger sister. This was what it meant to be loved by everyone. I'm so envious that I'm shedding tears. I want Sister E to roast a pigeon. Xiangyi was stunned for a moment. Her first reaction was to decline. I can't accept this, Sengchen. What? Are you looking down on me? No, then take it. Before Xiangyi could think of a reason to refuse, Sengchen had already placed the card into her small bag. Buy whatever you want. Don't make yourself suffer. Sengchen, who had always been a man of few words, said a few more words of blessings, which was rare for him. Joy, peace, and peace. You can look forward to it. Xiangyi's eyes turned red as she nodded vigorously. Sengchen responded indifferently with an Suddenly, Xiangyi threw herself into his arms. Brother, you have to be well too. Sengchen's body stiffened. He wasn't used to such emotional expressions, but he still raised his hand and gently patted the little bunny on the back. You'll never have to grow up. I'll spoil my little sister for the rest of my life. Chapter 859. This scene made many people in front of the screen feel like crying. At the scene, Xiang Yu and the others were fine, but Xiang Feng burst into tears. Little Chen Chen, you've finally said something human after being a jerk for so many years. In an instant, everyone stood a little further away from him, lest they get implicated when the devil flew into a rage. The viewers in the live stream were originally in tears, but they burst into laughter at this moment. Feng, has your mouth been blessed? Ha ha ha, Xiang Feng must have been beaten up a lot since he was a child. Uncle Xiang's mouth is perfect for team battles. Once he opens his mouth, he'll definitely be able to draw hatred. Xiang Feng was crying so hard that tears and snot were flowing down his face. He even took the initiative to run over and hug the siblings. Be good, both of you. I'll take care of you for the rest of your lives. Sengchen looked at the tears dripping onto the sleeves of his suit, and the corners of his eyebrows twitched. Bear with it. What are you guys still standing there for? Let's hug. Xiang Feng roared at the other three. Xiang Yu and the others hesitated for a while, but all of them said no. It's disgusting, no way. You're too pretentious, sissy. I don't like physical contact with humans. However, their bodies were very honest. The three of them walked over and hugged each other tightly. They weren't used to it at all. However, it was surprisingly heartwarming. It was a wonderful feeling. Madame Xiang was sitting on a rattan chair not far away. Seeing this, she wiped her tears with a handkerchief. She was old and couldn't bear to see such things. Xiang Yin and Shi Sui, who were in the kitchen, also cast their gazes over. Xiang Yin said, this little rascal has been unreliable for decades, but today, he's acting up. Shi Sui smiled gently at the side. Great. It's great that Xiang Yu is so happy. After the hug, everyone was a little uncomfortable. Xiang Feng was holding a tissue and blowing his nose while huffing and puffing. Sengchen looked at the snot that had stained his lapel, gritted his teeth, and silently took off his jacket. Continue to bear with it. It's Xiang Yu's birthday today, so I shouldn't beat Uncle Xiang up. Xiangyi's eyes were red. She used the excuse of going to the bathroom and washed her face with cold water. Her phone vibrated. She picked it up and saw that it was a message from Nan. Nan nan how nan, wow. Is your mother-in-law crazy? Xiangyi sent a question mark over. Then, Anan sent her a link. Xiangyi clicked on it, a few minutes later. In front of the washstand, the little girl was so angry that her shoulders were trembling. Other than her family, there were very few people or things that could make her so emotional. When the audio file reached the end, it automatically started to loop again. Leave him. The Shi family has the genes of lunatics, so sooner or later, Shi Sui will also go crazy. His father is trash. He's the same. He might even be worse than trash. Every sentence was like a curse. These were all the conversations that Xu Xia had with her in the glass greenhouse that day. What made Xiangyi even angrier was that Xu Xia had tampered with her words. Auntie, have you ever thought that all of this is your problem? What are you talking to me about? I don't want to hear it at all. I just want to be with him. You're not fit to be Shi Sui's mother at all. I'm enough for Shi Sui. Please leave. After listening carefully, she realized that these words didn't sound smooth. It wasn't difficult for Xiangyi to guess what kind of audio software was used. With a cold expression on her face, she dialed Xu Xia's number. Beep, the call was hung up. Chapter 860. Xiangyi bit her lower lip. She couldn't figure out why Xu Xia would slander her own son. The person who hurt her was Father Shi. What was the point of venting her anger on Shi Sui? Xiangyi took a deep breath. She couldn't wait for Si Chuanbai to remove the trending topic, so she wrote a program to forcibly hide the entry. However, it was better to open it up. Hiding the entry could only control public opinion on the internet, but it couldn't solve the root of the problem. Xu Xia. The Xu family and the Xiang family lived in the same villa area. Xiangyi planned to go directly to the Xu family to find the Xiang family. She didn't want others to know. Halfway through the window, she heard her little uncle's voice behind her. Little Xiangyi, what are you doing? It's too dangerous. Come down quickly. Xiangyi made a shushing gesture and lowered her voice. Little uncle, I'm going out for a while. I'll be back soon. Xiang Feng straightened his back and assumed the posture of an uncle. Where are you going? Xiangyi hesitated for a few seconds and chose to be honest. That's about it. I'm going to the Xu family now. Xiang Feng, who had always been talkative, fell silent. Xiangyi sensed that something was wrong and narrowed her eyes. Little uncle, do you know something? No, nothing. Xiang Feng waved his hand. The girl's eyes flickered and she decided to test him. Then I'll go. No, wait. Xiang Feng strode forward and grabbed Xiangyi. Don't go see that woman. She's not normal at all. As soon as he said that, Xiang Feng felt that he had misspoken. He wanted to remedy it, but it was too late. Xiangyi looked at him eagerly. Little uncle, tell me, okay? The Xiang family's ancestral pride couldn't resist Xiangyi's coquettishness. Xiang Feng was no exception. He sighed. Sigh, let's talk outside. You go first. Xiangyi did as she was told, and Xiang Feng followed her out. Behind the old mansion, the figures of uncle and niece appeared. Xiang Feng picked a small corner and looked around. After making sure that no one was around, he sighed and began to tell Xiangyi about the dusty past. When Shi Yuan and Xu Xia got married, it was hard to describe it as a grand wedding. Everyone in South City was saying that the two of them were a match made in heaven. After their marriage, the two of them did spend some sweet time together. Soon, Shi Sui was born. Once, Shi Yuan discovered that his wife actually had dual personalities. On one side, she was a dignified and elegant young lady from a prestigious family. On the other side, she was a charming and enchanting bar dancer. I don't know exactly what happened, but Uncle Shi probably found out that Auntie Xu was fooling around with another man. Xiang Feng braced himself and explained, carefully choosing his words for fear of dirtying his little niece's ears. But this is a conflict between husband and wife. What does it have to do with Shi Sui? Xiang Feng sighed even more heavily. Auntie Shu didn't know that she had a split personality. Huh. After Shu Xia woke up, she did not have any memories of her second personality. She only found Shi Yuan's doubts baffling. Shi Yuan was also a stubborn person. He imprisoned her in the Shi family and invited a psychiatrist to treat her. Shu Xia had always been very resistant and refused to cooperate. Although the two of them quarreled, it was still manageable. At least on the surface, it was still acceptable. Until Shi Yuan discovered that Shu Xia had been secretly abusing Shi Sui for several years. Shi Sui was too young at that time. He thought that if he didn't say anything, his parents could still maintain a harmonious relationship. Chapter 861. Little did he know that it would become the fuse that intensified the conflict between Shi Yuan and Shu Xia. Shu Xia's condition worsened, and her two personalities frequently switched. Every time she switched, Shi Yuan would become more paranoid, to the point of morbidity, and his desire to control Shu Xia became stronger and stronger. Shu Xia's hatred accumulated day by day, and her mental state was extremely poor. In her eyes, everyone wanted to harm her, her body and mind could not bear the negative energy, and Shi Yuan's existence limited all her outlets. Shi Sui's sentence, "Mommy, Daddy just loves you too much," was actually deliberately said for his father outside the door to hear. He wanted to create an illusion so that his father would not hurt his mother anymore. As for him, it was nothing to be hurt a little. Anyway, he would get used to the pain. However, that sentence caused Shu Xia to transfer all her hatred to Shi Sui, who was only 4 or 5 years old at that time. She felt that Shi Sui was not the so-called crystallization of love, but the product of evil. Therefore, the abuse began to intensify. She was not a qualified mother, and Shi Yuan was not a qualified father. At first, he still spent some effort on his son, but later, he was possessed and all his attention fell on Shu Xia. For Sui, that period of time must have been very dark and painful. Sigh, let's not talk about it. Although he was such a dog, every time I think of how he was when he was young, I feel that there's nothing I can't forgive him for. Xiang Feng sighed. He was a few years older than Shi Sui, so he remembered it very clearly. When Shi Sui was carried out of that hellish place, he was skinny and had all kinds of scars on his body. However, the little boy's expression was indifferent and numb, as if he had lost his normal perception of everything. What made Xiang Feng the most uncomfortable was when he saw Shi Sui subconsciously cover his eyes with his hand when he came into contact with the sunlight. He couldn't help but wonder if it was because he was always hiding in the dark that he was afraid of seeing the light. Xiangyi listened in a daze. Her eyelashes trembled slightly and were stained with moisture. After a while, she raised her little face and held back all her tears. Now was not the time to be pretentious. Instead, it was when he was protecting Shi Sui. Xiang Feng saw that her expression had changed from sad to calm, and for a moment, he was a little nervous. "Rabbit, don't think I'm pedantic, but this isn't suitable for you, you know? No matter what, Auntie Shu is still your elder. It's not good for you to go to the Shu family and make a scene." Xiangyi said indifferently, "There's no need to go." Xiang Feng breathed a sigh of relief. "It's fine as long as you don't go. I'm just afraid that Sui Sui will hold a grudge against you." He suddenly reacted. "What are you going to do?" Xiangyi shook her phone. "Uncle, you don't think that only Madame Shu knows how to record, do you?" Xiang Feng. Was this even possible? "Sorry, this question is beyond the syllabus." Just as the public opinion was getting more and more heated, Xiangyi, who rarely posted on Weibo, suddenly updated her status. The content was very simple. There were only a few numbers, and a complete audio file was attached. Xiangyi v. 1. Rumors stop with the wise. 2. The rumormonger must be investigated to the end. The netizens were the first to arrive at the scene and were shocked by Xiangyi's attitude. F***ck, Sister E is so stubborn. When they clicked on the recording, everyone realized that the content was completely different from the version that had been circulating before. A professional player immediately translated the text version and analyzed it word by word. He could be called a famous internet detective. Chapter 862. Minasang. To summarize the key points, Shurind's mother, Madame Shu, said the same thing in both recordings, but Sister Yi's words were completely different. In one version, her values were extremely crooked, and she didn't respect her elders at all. In the other version, I was about to cry. My roommate happened to be an expert in editing, so I asked him to help me listen to the recording. He said that the version that Sister E posted was the real conversation. The version that was circulating before was edited. The point is, it was edited. So, there's actually nothing interesting about this. Someone just used a low-level method to tamper with Sister Yi's words. Besides, in the complete version that Sister E posted, Madame Shu's behavior in giving the card to her was so disgusting. Wasn't she selling her son for money? Does Sister E care about your stinky money? Humph. Sob, 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 confess to Sister E, and say, I'll be with him for the rest of his life. It's so sweet. Ah, my roommate asked me to go for supper, I'll get going first. The public opinion changed immediately. Many netizens realized that they had been used as a tool. Everyone persevered and dug out the source of the gossip with great enthusiasm. It was a blogger with more than 100,000 fans. This blogger was probably afraid that he would be reported or even sued, so he quickly denied any involvement and even posted the bank account number that had transferred the money to him. The netizens didn't know until they checked, but when they did, they were shocked. The account number turned out to be Shu Xia's. In an instant, the netizens were in an uproar. His mother spent money to tamper with the recorded conversation with her daughter-in-law just to slander her son for being mentally ill? I'm confused on the spot, I really don't understand what she's doing. This should be one of the top 10 shocking news stories of the year, right? What kind of confusing behavior is Madame Shu doing? Forgive me for being blunt, but although Madame Shu keeps saying that Shu Sui has the genes of a lunatic, I think the one who's mentally ill is Madame Shu. The viewers in the live stream were a little late, but after they saw it, they were still dumbfounded. This, some netizens wanted to type in the comments section, but they hesitated. Especially those who had called Shu Sui a lunatic. They were too embarrassed to say anything and could only pretend to be dead. The Shu Sui sisters, on the other hand, wept with joy. Sister E is awesome. I won't say anything else. From now on, Spicy Tutu is my half-sister. I agree to this marriage. Sister E, when are you going to marry our Shurindi? Or even our Shurindi could marry you. We don't mind him being a gigolo, really. The live broadcast room was filled with joy and happiness. Old residence, balcony. Shu Sui received a call from Si Chuanbai and roughly understood the situation. He was being protected by the little rabbit again. Shu Sui didn't have the inexplicable chauvinism of some men and didn't think it was shameful. On the contrary, he felt very happy. She had never experienced such happiness in her life. He took out a velvet box from his pocket, his eyes deep and gentle. Would she agree? All of a sudden, two familiar figures entered his ears. The uncle and niece, who had mastered their tree-climbing skills, easily climbed over the wall of the courtyard. Little uncle, do you think I'll scare Shu Sui if I propose to him? Will he say yes to my request? Should I bow or kneel down? The girl's soft and gentle voice entered his ears, causing him to feel a little itchy. His heartbeat became erratic. The following words are not charged. Ha ha ha, Nuanyuan is going to celebrate the new year. There might not be any new chapters later. If there aren't any, I'll make up for it tomorrow night. Thank you for being with me for the past year. This year, Nuanyuan is writing novels, learning novels, and Gonfan. Gonfan is not bad at all. I hope that in 2021, we can continue to grow and become outstanding together. Everyone. New year. Fast. Happy. Chapter 863. The girl's soft and gentle voice entered his ears, causing him to feel a slight itch. His heartbeat became erratic. It turned out that there was really such a person in this world who could easily affect his heartbeat. The conversation between the uncle and niece continued. Xiang Feng asked, "What did you say? You want to propose to Shi Sui?" "No." He felt like vomiting blood. "Why is my little bunny so unreserved?" Xiang Yi tilted her head and asked, "Why? How can a girl propose to a man?" "But love is a matter between two people. Be it a boy or a girl, everyone has the right to pursue love. Since a boy can propose to a girl, she can do the same. Why does it have to be a matter of gender?" Xiang Feng was speechless. He scratched his head, unable to think of anything to refute Xiang Yi. After a long time, he finally said, "What if he proposes to you first?" Xiang Yi shook her head and said, "No, Shi Sui is a shy and timid boy. He won't take the initiative to do such a thing." Xiang Feng was speechless. Shy? Timid? What does those two words have to do with Shi Sui? Indeed, lust makes one dizzy. "Look, my bunny is so muddle-headed." On the balcony, Shi Sui raised his eyebrows and calmly put the velvet box back into his pocket. Being proposed to by little bunny seems like a good idea. When Xiang Yi returned to the living room, the cameras and gazes all turned to her. The girl's body had this kind of magical power. She was clearly quiet and indifferent, but she was exceptionally attractive. "Sister." A pleasant female voice came from the second floor, followed by the sound of footsteps on the wooden stairs. She then complained aggrievedly. "Why are you only back now? I've been looking for you for a long time." The girl was dressed in a fiery red dress and was bright and youthful. She was the chief violinist of the Orpheus Orchestra and Xiang Yi's best friend, Jiang Jojo. Xiang Yi's doe eyes lit up and she rushed towards the stairs. Jiang Jojo accidentally missed a step and her pupils immediately dilated. The expected scene of her falling down the stairs and embarrassing herself in front of everyone didn't happen. On the contrary, she fell into a warm and soft embrace. Xiang Yi caught her. Jiang Jojo's eyes widened. This scene instantly ignited the nerves of the live stream viewers. Countless cult fans who had drunk Yi Jiu's wine before came out one after another. "Grandma, your CP is finally open for business." I don't care, Jojo is the main palace. Shuringdi is at most a favored concubine. Sob, I want to fall into Sister Yi's arms too. I want Sister Yi to pick me up and gently put me on the ground. In front of the stairs, Jiang Jojo's fair face was flushed and she didn't even know where to put her hands. Yi's hug, the arrogant and domineering young miss revealed her shy side at this moment. "Are you all right?" Xiang Yi asked gently. When Jiang Jojo heard her, the violinist's ears turned red and she stammered, yes. Xiang Yi blinked, thinking that Jiang Jojo was frightened. Hence, she rubbed Jiang Jojo's head. The sudden head touching made Jiang Jojo feel like steam was about to rise from the top of her head. "Yi is coaxing me, she must be treating me as her best sister. I'm the person who has the best relationship with Yi in this world. That dog of a Shi Sui is nothing. Oh, oh. Chapter 864. With Jiang Jojo's arrival, Xiang Yi was obviously overjoyed as she smiled more often. The two girls had endless things to talk about as they leaned their heads together and chatted about each other's recent situation. They even ignored the fact that they were on a live stream. However, the viewers of the live stream didn't find it boring at all. Instead, they found their conversation very interesting. "Why is Yi Jiu so cute? This is how I look when I meet my best friend. We chat on WeChat every day but we still have a lot to talk about when we meet, haha. I feel like Sister Yi is really different when she's with Jojo. She's much calmer and more mature when Jojo is not around, but she becomes girlier when Jojo is around." Seeing that the two girls were getting along harmoniously, the members of the Xiang family were very heartened. Tutu has friends. That's great. When Xiang Yi was in school, she rarely mentioned her classmates and friends. They were once worried that Xiang Yi might have been bullied in school. Hence, the Xiang family even secretly sent someone to investigate. The answer was that Xiang Yi was not isolated, but for some reason, she had many acquaintances but almost no true friends. The The Xiang family was most worried that Tutu would be too lonely. By the way, Fu Jiayan is coming later too. He sent me a message. Let me see what kind of silly message he sent. Jiang Jojo took out her cell phone and shared her chat history with Fu Jiayan in front of Xiangyi without hesitation. Little Fu tomorrow, Rich, I'm going. Little Fu tomorrow, Rich, I'm almost there. Little Fu tomorrow, Rich, sob, I knocked it. Jiang Jojo asked excitedly, what did you knock it on? Did the couple I told you about sprinkle sugar on you again? Xiangyi's eyes were also full of anticipation. Fu Jiayan sent a voice message over. I knocked my knee QAQ. Jiang Jojo couldn't help but roll her eyes. The viewers of the live stream burst into laughter. Turns out it's not that. Ignore him. Jiang Jojo pursed her lips and continued, why does he have so much nonsense to say every day? Here, this is my gift to you. I just casually prepared it. I didn't prepare it carefully. The young lady handed a gift box to Xiangyi. It was a beautiful champagne-colored ribbon with a greeting card and a small bouquet of baby's breath. The packaging was exquisite, and it was obvious that she had put a lot of thought into it. It was something that Sanction and the others could not compare to. Only designer Xiang Qi could barely put up a fight. Then I'll tear it down. Open it. But let me say this first. If you don't like it, you can't return it. Xiangyi chuckled. Her slender and soft little hands gently untied the ribbon tied into a bow. In the velvet gift box, there was a delicate bracelet. The thin bracelet was connected by crescent-shaped white mother-of-pearl shells. Each crescent was inlaid with a ring of diamonds. It was the type of jewelry that would make a girl's heart flutter at first glance. Take a good look. Xiangyi's eyes were curved like crescent moons. Noticing the star bracelet on Jiang Jojo's wrist, she asked, are we sisters? Jiang Jojo avoided her gaze and pouted. I just accidentally bought something of the same series. If you don't mind, you can wear it as sisters. I can reluctantly agree. Xiangyi extended her hand in front of her and said, help me put it on then. The corners of Jiang Jojo's lips curled up, but she still insisted. I just bought it casually. I definitely didn't choose it carefully. Anyway, you're not allowed to dislike it. Humph. Chapter 865. In the live stream, shocking. The Xiang family has been known to be proud and arrogant for generations. Jiang Jojo is really a little cutie who doesn't mean what she says. The stars, the moon, and the stars, to round it up, is happiness. I don't care, I got it anyway. Ha ha ha, the person in front is awesome. However, when the camera panned to Shui, who had returned to the kitchen, the comments changed abruptly. Most of them felt sorry for Shui, but there were also a few who resented Xiangyi. They're separated by a door. One is happy while the other is bearing with the pain. Does her conscience really not hurt? She just posted on Weibo to defend Shui and now she's only talking to Jiang Jojo. I wonder if Xiangyi is putting on a show for others. No matter what the reason is, anyone would be upset to be criticized by their own mother in front of the entire internet. Xiangyi, why can't you coax Shui? You're heartless. In particular, when the butler arranged for the servants to take out a large pile of parcels, everyone's resentment instantly increased. Miss E, these are the parcels that have been sent to you one after another in the past 2 days. Because they've all been specially marked as birthday gifts, I've kept them together and am giving them to you today. The parcels were all torn, but the butler stuck a sticky note on each box. Xiangyi saw many familiar names, Yan Nai, Jiang Chen, and the other members of C7, Yin Zhengxue, Xinguang, Zhong Yi, the players of Team Logic, and the Taoist masters of the major Taoist temples. Although they couldn't come in person, they had all prepared a token of appreciation for Xiangyi. Birthdays were meant to be celebrated in the first place. However, in the eyes of some people, the better Xiangyi was living now, the more upset they would be. It's just a birthday celebration, must they make such a big fuss? Extravagant. She has the cheek to accept gifts. I'm speechless. Shui is so pitiful. He should marry a virtuous wife. If his wife is not virtuous, his family is not upright. How can he marry a woman like Xiangyi? Is he marrying her as a nanny or an ancestor? There were all sorts of strange discussions. No one could understand why there would be such dark thoughts in the world. Jiang Zhujiu opened the Xingchen app in a bid to watch the replay of the live stream. She took dozens of screenshots and edited them for her screensaver. Who would have thought that all he could see were unsightly remarks? She was so angry that she was trembling. She typed furiously to argue with the other party. Xiangyi noticed her abnormal mood and sat down beside her. What's wrong? Look at these people. They were too bored. Could it be that they couldn't bear to see others doing well? All of you are so jealous. Xiangyi frowned as she looked at the comments that were flooding in. This made those jealous people even more excited. It turned out that a casual sentence from them could really affect a celebrity's mood. On what basis? Why was she living such a good life? He was just reincarnated into a good family. What's so great about that? Xiangyi narrowed her eyes and looked at the bullet screen for about 10 seconds. She didn't care about the comments that mocked her, but she did care about the comments that said Shui didn't have a gift. She raised her head and asked the butler calmly, "Have the things I bought arrived?" The butler answered respectfully, "Are they the express deliveries that you asked for?" "I've saved them separately. Do you want me to bring them over now?" "Yes." Xiangyi got up and walked into the kitchen. She tugged at Shui's sleeve and said with a smile, "Boyfriend, come out and receive the gift." Chapter 866. There was a moment of silence in the live stream where the bullet screen was flooded with comments. What? Did they hear it wrong? Today was Xiangyi's birthday. Why would she ask Shui to accept gifts? The Shui sisters couldn't help but cheer. Ah, so Sister Yi wasn't joking when she said she would give half of the gifts to Shui. Is it true? Her words enlightened everyone. No way, right? It turned out that she was. Shui followed Xiangyi to the living room in confusion. The butler had already laid out the gift boxes, big and small. There were even more gifts than Xiangyi had received. Xiangyi said a little embarrassedly, "It might be a little too little." "Don't mind, 2/3 of it is still on the way." The audience? Everyone at the scene? Shui couldn't help but laugh. Why did you buy so many? As long as Sister Yi gives me a gift, I'll be very happy. Xiangyi looked straight at him without blinking. Her gaze was gentle, and her tone was firm. These are for your birthday. If you don't mind, my birthday will be your birthday from now on. The birthday on your profile will also be your birthday. This way, you can celebrate your birthday twice a year. She had been there for his birthdays that no one had celebrated for him. She would make up for the regrets that no one had cared about. Shui's Adam's apple bobbed. He lowered his eyes and looked at Xiangyi with a restrained and deep gaze. The people in the live stream who had been fighting for justice for Shui were now as quiet as chickens, not daring to speak. They had thought that Xiangyi was heartless and wouldn't coax Shui. Unexpectedly, she had already prepared everything. She had even prepared so many gifts. The Shui sisters, Spicy Tutu, and Untimely Fit were now each more stubborn than the other. "I'm just asking you guys, does your face hurt?" That one sentence killed everyone in an instant. Those people either left the live stream dejectedly or pretended that they hadn't posted anything. In the living room, Xiangyi took a deep breath. She was so nervous that her heart was pounding. Her cherry lips opened slightly. "Shui, I have something to tell you." Her lips were sealed by the man's large palm. It was warm to the touch and slightly rough. She looked at the man in front of her in confusion. Shui was also looking at her. The usual laziness on his handsome face was gone, replaced by gentleness and seriousness. His voice was extremely low, revealing a hint of affection. "There are some things that a man should take the initiative." Xiangyi stared blankly for a moment before she suddenly realized something. He couldn't have, heard it, right? Shui was dressed in a formal suit today. He took off his suit jacket, revealing a clean white shirt underneath, which was tucked into his black trousers elegantly. His voice was low and magnetic. Xiangyi, I used to have a lot of dark and unbearable thoughts. I had never thought of climbing out of that abyss because I felt that even if I did, there wouldn't be a single ray of light. But one day, I suddenly changed my mind. I met my light. I met a gentleness that I had never met before in my life. I also met a stroke of luck that I had never met before in my life. She is the one and only girl in this world. She is the secret that I have hidden in my heart for many years. She is my yearning for all the good things in my heart. I want to protect my light. I want her to shine forever. The man knelt down on one knee and looked up at Xiangyi with a smile on his face. He was as pious as a believer praying to God. Marry me, will you? Chapter 867. Patter. Shui opened the velvet box that she had prepared beforehand. After opening it, the diamond ring inside shone brightly. It was an extremely simple design, but the design was ingenious and unique. A circle of fine diamonds surrounded the moon, with the water droplet-shaped pink diamond in the middle like a lover's heart. The moment Shui knelt down on one knee, the live stream of Two Under One Roof exploded. When the man's deep and gentle voice said, "Marry me, okay?" the comments in the comments section set a new record since the start of the show. Wow 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 wow. I declare you officially husband and wife, and send you to the bridal chamber. He's done it, he's done it. Shuringdi is too good today. Since you've already proposed, it's time for the wedding, right? It was time to pick a place for their honeymoon, right? It's time to prepare for the baby's 1-month-old celebration, right? At this moment, even the audience, who didn't usually fall for the untimely couple, couldn't stop laughing. Ayaya, the past 2 months of live streaming were not in vain. These two children had finally come to fruition. The camera panned across the faces of the Xiang family. Xiang Yin humphed and pinched the dumpling in his hand angrily. Madame Xiang wiped her tears with a handkerchief, but there was a gratified smile on her face. Sanction was as cold and distant as ever. However, his hands hanging by the side of his trousers were clenched into fists, revealing his knuckles and blue veins, revealing his emotions. Xiangli had a warm smile on his face like a spring breeze. He only raised his hand to push up his glasses. His black eyes behind the lenses flashed with a dark light, as if he was preparing to plot something. Xiang Qi was so anxious that he was jumping up and down. Xiang Yu pressed down on his cap while Jiang Jojo pouted in displeasure. As for Xiang Feng, he was so moved that he cried and kept muttering, "Promise him, promise him." The netizens jokingly called him an elite player on the front line, a true portrayal of the majority of CP fans. It felt like a few seconds had passed, but it also felt like an eternity. When the camera finally returned to Xiangyi's face, the netizens were all nervous, waiting for the girl's response. Xiangyi's reaction was slower than everyone had imagined. The girl was at a loss and subconsciously blurted out, "You proposed first, so can I still propose to you?" Poof. Whether it was the audience or the live stream, everyone couldn't help but laugh. How could she be so cute? To everyone's surprise, Shui's answer was, Shui smiled and said, "If Tutu wants to, it's not impossible." Everyone. The live stream audience. Listen, is this something a human would say? A dog, and it was Shuringdi's dog. She could not be more flirtatious. Xiangyi considered it seriously for a few seconds. Then, "I want to propose too." Shui's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment. Now? Yes. Xiangyi nodded vigorously. She looked down at Shui, but there was no arrogance in her eyes. Instead, she was full of sincerity. 16 years old. Love at first sight. 17 years old, always chasing after that person. 18 years old. I secretly checked the legal age for marriage. 19 years old. I dreamed that I would spend the rest of my life with him. I was happy for a long, long time. 20 years old. For some reason, I gradually drifted away from him. Fortunately, we were lucky enough to reunite in Two Under One Roof. 21 years old. The person I liked became my boyfriend. He is also my light. Xiangyi paused, and the girl's cheeks dimpled. His name is Shui. Hello, Shui. Are you going to marry me? Chapter 868. In the live stream, the audience was dumbfounded. Oh my god. Sister E actually proposed to him. What kind of crazy plot is this? Even the script of a movie wouldn't dare to do this. Ah. It's a double arrow. It's a double arrow of love. I believe in love again. Tie it, tie it, tie it. I'm going to burst into tears, lock it up for untimely. Forever and ever. Shui's peach blossom-shaped eyes were no longer sharp and vicious. Instead, they were filled with deep affection and tenderness that made one unable to extricate themselves from it. He said, I'm willing. Xiang Yi said with a smile, I'm willing too. Mutual proposal, mutual consent. There was a round of applause at the venue, and the live stream was also flooded with all sorts of clapping, sprinkling flowers, stars, and firecrackers emojis. Shui put the ring on Xiangyi's finger, which was neither too tight nor too loose, just right for her. The girls under the microscope noticed this detail and screamed in front of the screen. It was obvious that Shui had premeditated this from the start. Someone shouted, kiss her, and the crowd immediately cheered. Xiang Yi and the brothers of the Xiang family turned sullen. Because Xiang Yi liked him, they could reluctantly accept Shui. However, the thought of this dog of a man acting intimately with Xiang Yi made them extremely displeased. They wanted to beat him up for holding her hand. If he dared to kiss her, they would break his legs. Fortunately, Shui took the psychological feelings of the Xiang family into consideration and merely pecked Xiang Yi's fair forehead lightly. At the end of the day, there was still plenty of time. On the other hand, Xiang Yi took the initiative to tiptoe and kiss the corner of his lips, causing another wave of traffic to explode. The number of online viewers in the live stream rose again, and even seemed to be breaking through 30 million. At this point, Xiang Yi's status and popularity in the livestream variety show industry was unshakable. Xiang Yi was so infuriated that he was fuming with anger while the brothers of the Xiang family looked increasingly sullen. Sanction, the great devil, immediately grabbed his sister and pulled her to his side. He said coldly, "What did I teach you? Have you forgotten all about it? You're not allowed to date at such a young age." Xiang Yi cringed and continued, "But I like him too much," Sanction sighed. In front of others, he was a terrifying demon king, but in front of his sister, he doted on her unbelievably. "You can like him." In the next second, Sanction said with a straight face. "But no matter what, in this world, the person you like the most must be yourself." Xiang Yi blinked her eyes and responded obediently, but in her heart, she was thinking that family was the most important and the most important thing. Now, it was time to add Shui to the list. While the atmosphere was harmonious, an uninvited figure appeared at the door. Everyone looked at each other when they saw Shuxia's arrival. Even in the live stream, there were fewer comments. With all due respect, what is Miss Shu doing here? Isn't she embarrassed? Xia did not expect that she would be so unpopular. She frowned and maintained the elegant and dignified demeanor of a socialite. "Xiang Yi, happy birthday." She was holding a small gift box in her hand. "I specially chose this perfume. It should suit you." The butler was very perceptive and took the initiative to accept the gift. Xiang Yi thanked her politely. "Thank you, Auntie." Apart from that, she did not say anything else. She maintained basic social etiquette, simply because she was Shui's mother. Xia flicked her long hair and glanced at Shui. Seemingly inadvertently, she said deliberately, "Don't you feel disgusted that someone who shouldn't be here is here? Even the air has become smelly." Chapter 869. A question mark appeared on top of Xiang Yi's head. What kind of confusing speech was this? The others were even more speechless. You're the one who led the charge to slander your own son, and you're also the one who humiliated your own son in front of your daughter-in-law. Now, you're here to ruin the atmosphere. You really don't have any self-awareness. Xiangyi ignored Xu Xia's sarcasm. Her doe eyes flashed with worry as she looked at Shi Sui. The man's expression was indifferent. His eyelids were lowered, and no one knew what he was thinking. Xiangyi's heart felt like it was being squeezed. It was very uncomfortable. The girl quietly hooked Shi Sui's finger, wanting to transmit her warmth to him. Shi Sui rubbed the girl's soft palm a few times, indicating that he was fine. The intimate action of the two provoked Xu Xia even more. She spoke slowly and with a gentle tone. At first glance, it didn't sound aggressive, but in fact, every word and sentence was extremely mean when one thought about it carefully. Xiangyi, I'm telling you this because I'm your mother's good friend. With the Xiang family backing you up, it's okay even if your taste in men is a little bad. But you can't be completely without a bottom line. At the very least, you have to choose a normal person. If you choose a lunatic, what if he goes crazy in the future? Genes are very important, you have to think carefully. Don't mind Auntie's nagging, I'm doing this for your own good. Xiangyi had never liked to scold her elders, but today, she made an exception. The girl put on a fake smile. Auntie, are you really doing this for my own good, or do you just hate to see Shi Sui do well? Xu Xia asked knowingly, who is Shi Sui? This sentence completely angered Xiangyi. Madam Xu, I can understand that you don't like Uncle Shi, but that's between you and Uncle Shi. Why do you have to involve Shi Sui? What kind of heinous things did he do to make you hate him so much? People who rarely lost their temper were scarier than ordinary people when they did. Even Xu Xia was shocked by Xiangyi's reaction. The girl's aura was so strong that it made her scalp tingle. However, the viewers in the live stream were exclaiming, "What the F***, CK, Sister E is going against her future mother-in-law? Once Tudu shows her power, Sister E becomes Brother E. My Brother E is ruthless and doesn't say much." But when she came back to her senses, Xu Xia was embarrassed and angry. She was actually scolded by a little girl. What do you know? Xu Xia wanted to give an example of Shi Sui's heinous crimes, but she suddenly stopped. Her beautiful eyes were filled with confusion. It seemed that Shi Sui hadn't done anything. But why did she hate Shi Sui so much? Why did she hate Shi Sui so much? Do you really hate Shi Sui? Or is it because you have nowhere to vent your hatred onto him? Xiangyi asked indifferently. Everyone looked at Xu Xia. Her face suddenly turned pale and her head throbbed with pain. Xu Xia didn't admit that she had dual personality disorder. She often refused to take the medicine prescribed by Dr. Gu, so she would act up from time to time. Of course, she didn't think that she was sick. She just felt unwell. I. Xu Xia stuttered for a long time and couldn't say a word. Instead, cold sweat kept dripping down. Her hands trembled as she fumbled for a bottle of medicine in her bag. But because her hands were shaking too much, the medicine bottle fell to the ground and rolled all the way to Shi Sui's feet. The label on the bottle was transmitted to countless people's screens through the live stream. Chapter 870. Shi Sui bent his knees and immediately picked up the bottle of medicine with his slender fingers. He even deliberately pressed the side of the label against his palm. However, Xu Xia's emotions were quite unstable as she shrieked, "Don't touch my things." Shi Sui paused in his actions. A moment later, he handed the bottle of medicine to Xiangyi and said in a hoarse voice, "Give it to her for me." Okay. Xiangyi went to return the medicine expressionlessly, but Xu Xia slapped the bottle away. He touched it. "It's dirty, I don't want it." Not only was Xiangyi angry, even Xiang Yin, who used to dislike Shi Sui the most, couldn't help but stand up and speak up for him. "Xia, you're already an adult, why are you still angry with a child? Outsiders may not know about what happened back then, but we still remember it. We know that you're angry and Shi Yuan is indeed a jerk. He doesn't deserve our sympathy at all for ending up in such a state. But what did Shui do wrong? Huh? He's so young, but he was beaten up badly by Shi Yuan in order to protect you. What about you? You even secretly abused him. Madame Xiang adjusted her shawl and was much more dignified and elegant than Xu Xia. Xia, you have to see a doctor for your physical illness, and it's the same for your mental illness. Don't be stubborn and let Shui off. He has never owed you anything. Xiang Yin's words caused an uproar in the live stream. Abuse? Didn't Xu Xia keep saying that the Shi family has crazy genes? Why is she behaving so strangely? At this moment, a large group of famous detectives appeared. I've learned a little about psychology. To be honest, I think Xu Xia has a serious psychological problem. The symptoms of sudden temper tantrums are very similar to manic episodes. During episodes, the patient may have memory disorders, behavior disorders, and a loss of self-awareness. Friends. I quickly took a screenshot and used the translation software to flip through the label on the medicine bottle. Guess what medicine it is? Stop keeping us in suspense, hurry up and tell us. I'm guessing it's for mental illness, that's right. It's for treating mental illnesses. I just showed it to my colleague in the psychiatry department. She said that the medicine is prescribed for patients with severe bipolar disorder. Oh my God, I feel like I've eaten a big melon. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. So, the one who was really sick was actually Xu Xia. However, she kept saying that Shui had the crazy genes of the Shi family. It was too ironic. Xu Xia had no idea that she had been exposed by the netizens. Her eyes were red as she looked at Shui with hatred. Shui slowly walked up to her. He was no longer the little boy he used to be. Now, he was even taller than Xu Xia, who was wearing high heels. What are you doing? Xu Xia asked cautiously. Stay away from me. Scram. Shui's expression was calm and his voice was calm. I've never hated you. This one sentence made the hysterical Xu Xia quiet down. It doesn't matter if you hate me. Shui smirked self-deprecatingly. If possible, I hope you'll forget me. After all, it's tiring to hate someone all the time. Xu Xia's eyes were a little dazed. She seemed to have looked past the slender and thin man in front of her and saw the little boy who had protected her when she was curled up in the corner back then. Mom, this is the last time I'm calling you Mom. Last time, you didn't want me. This time, I don't want you anymore. I found my happiness, and I hope you will continue to be happy. Chapter 871. I also hope that you will continue to be happy. The man's voice was low and gentle, without any hostility. He had never let go. He just didn't care anymore. In this world, little Bunny was the most important. Xu Xia stared at him in a daze. Her head was about to explode, but she couldn't feel it at all. Dr. Gu, whom Shui had contacted, arrived. He and a few assistants persuaded Xu Xia to leave. Fortunately, Xu Xia didn't overreact and allowed the medical staff to help her out. Dr. Gu was in his 50s and was a little plump. He looked at Shui with a kind gaze. Your mother's condition is getting worse. She didn't want it to be like this. Don't be upset, just take it that her heart has caught a little cold. Shui nodded. Thank you. Dr. Gu sighed. In the end, he still felt a little sad. He was friends with Shi Yuan and Xu Xia. When they got married, he even gave them a share of the wedding. He didn't expect that they would end up like this. Shi Yuan was basically crazy and couldn't bear to hear Xu Xia's name at all. Xu Xia's personality disorder was getting more and more frequent, and there were even signs of a third personality being born. At this moment, Xu Xia, who had already walked to the door, suddenly stopped in her tracks and whispered 2 words. Sui. The medical staff gently comforted her and helped her leave. Dr. Gu's expression was very complicated. He said, your parents gave you this name. Shi Sui means good all year round, and is often used as a congratulatory phrase at the end of letters. He patted Shi Sui's shoulder and didn't say anything else. He simply said goodbye and left. In the live stream, the comments section was a little sad. Sob sob sob, Shi Sui's name is so beautiful. I've seen the love letter my grandfather wrote to my grandmother, and the ending was a compliment to Shi Sui. Maybe Shi Sui's parents also had a wonderful time in the beginning. This name is obviously filled with blessings for the child Kak. Shi Sui looked calm and steady, but Xiangyi could still feel his sadness. She went to Li Jianyu and said a few words. Not long after, Li Jianyu announced in front of the camera, "Today's live broadcast ends here. After all, it's Sister Yi's birthday. We won't disturb her reunion with her family." Many of the audience protested. Broadcast it. Do I lack this bit of traffic? Play another 5 GB.